Hey babe, can you close the doors? I am going live.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're gonna see how that goes.
Okay.
We're gonna see.
Somebody's kicked. Nah, if I kick him out, he'll scream.
Yeah, that's true.
He'll spook.
Look at that. Okay. I am going to send this out. All right. Well, we're just gonna go ahead and get going. So, this is our first live stream, and it's not really a real live stream. More of just playing around and making sure that everything works. But I'm going to talk as if people are actually here, just in case they go back and watch it later. Um, Essentially, what we're going to be doing is blending for fun and just chilling and hanging out. So let's hope that that works. I'm going to make sure I have chat up as well, so that if you want to, then you can go ahead and chat along. Okay. Trying to make sure that this is working, but I have no idea. Let's see. Let's check the old YouTube on the phone, yeah? Hey, there we go. Okay. It's working. All right. So I'm going to share this to my friends. And let's see how that goes. Cool, cool. All right. Well, while I wait on some people, let's open up these bottles. Hey, Natalie. I see you in the chat. So nice to have a supportive wife. Oh my gosh, this thing is being annoying. There we go. I hate cling wrap. And I don't have trash. I need to get the box. Ooh, that'll work. Impromptu trash can. Yeah, first comment as if that's such a shock. You're so welcome. Okay, got that one open. Boom, that one's good. All right. Dan shot me that trick. Dan Shook, thank you very much. Just pull the saran wrap off. It's not saran wrap. What is it? Cellophane? Cellophane? I think that's what it's called. Hey, I am being nice. You have to be nice. Wow, we've got one concurrent viewer. I wonder who that one viewer is. Oh, forgot about this. Boom. I don't like that being on there. That was a good sound. Come on. Need like a knife or something. Also, I'm really bad about looking at the camera, which I'm not really that bad about during our actual videos. Also, I'm reiterating my chair point I was talking about earlier. We need an actual chair for this because my back is killing me right now. This is not fun. Oh my gosh, I can't freaking... Oh my goodness. Being a pain. Should I bite it? This is on the internet. I'm not... Why am I being stupid? Oh my goodness. I need like a knife. I could just get up. It's not like there's anyone else in here. Yeah, I'm just gonna get up. I needed a thing to get this off. Watch me stab myself though. Do not look. Come on. I didn't stab myself. Yeah, I know, right? Okay. All right, we're back and in the same position we were when I left. So, yay. Gotta remember, on the internet, can't do an awesome burp like I give my wife. So. Wait, what'd you laugh about? That's ha. Oh, the burp thing? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I'm currently on my phone attempting to recruit people to come be in the live chat other than just my wife. Let's see. I personally reached out to my brothers, to Dante and to Garrett. Yeah, see, yeah, my burp. Yeah, there you go. As well as my other friends. So we shall see. We shall see. So far, my bourbon junkie friends are all duds, and none of them are coming to hang out. It's not very nice, guys. It's not very nice. Oh, hi, Lyndon. Since you're just joining, testing out the your cat, he's right there. He's literally in the other green chair right there. Not doing his job very well. But at least he's not eating loudly and going crazy. Give me Mao. Well, I can try, but he'll kill me. Come here, bub. Come here. Your daddy wants to see you, so don't be mad at me. Okay. Here he is. Is this good enough for you? Yeah, say it into the mic. There you go. And he's done. So. But there you go. There is your kitty cat son. I hope that was worthwhile. Dante just told me that he will not be joining because he has D&D with other idiots. So that's nice. Thanks, Dante. I'm mostly just sad I don't see you tomorrow either, so that's all right. Yeah, your boy real fat. But that does mean that he's real good at the pressure points on your back, you know? The chub slug. The chub slug for reals. I'm real disappointed right now in all the other people that I messaged to be on here. Like, come on, y'all. And if you are in here, then get in the live chat. That way I actually know you're here. But we're going to do some blending because I haven't done that in a long time. I kind of had this idea today. I was like, what would an Old Forester 100 proof burr rye be like? And of course, it starts out innocently like that. 2 bottles, both under $30, and see what it can do. And then that quickly turns into, hey. Yeah, well, you know better about heavy crowns on content stuff than me. But the idea quickly turns from an innocent 2 bottles to, well, but what if we added in some other stuff? So I did help myself a little bit by saying no bottles over $30 for their full size. So we've got Sazerac Rye, $29, Elijah Craig, around $28, Bullet Rye, so MGP, Wild Turkey 101 Rye, and a Benchmark single barrel. So we're going to test that out and see how that goes. I think first we're going to start off with a 50-50 split of the Old Foresters, because that's kind of what mostly got me curious. One of the reasons that I found this so intriguing is because the Old Forester Rye is so much darker in profile than the bourbon, which is kind of unusual, right? Usually it's the other way around. Ryes are lighter, brighter, spicier, and then the bourbons are a bit more of the darker caramels and things like that. So I'm interested to see what that's like. We'll kind of swirl it around for a second, get kind of a baseline. Also, I need like a desk, and then like there's just like not enough room, and cable management is terrible, and I don't know, I just kind of set all this up on a whim without any real equipment. But I really wanted to try it, so we'll see how it goes. Oh yeah, is it smooth? I mean, I really like it too. I like it better than the Jack Daniel's Bonded Rye for sure. That one kind of has this like Play-Doh-y note to me, which is a little odd, but oh, that's really nice actually. I don't know why I'm surprised. Yeah, go ahead and share the link in our story, babe. One thing that I've never really loved about the Old Forester bourbon is that sometimes it can be a little bit hot and astringent on the nose. The rye is really kind of tampering that down because it's so rich and sweet and dark. It also mutes the banana quite a lot, so like it's still there, but it's just not oppressive. It's a really nice balance. Lyndon, you're going to love this, but I know you would get mint off the nose. I wouldn't say it's mint for sure. It is herbal. I'm thinking I could see like a mint tea. You know, it's not full on mint leaves, but it's like a drier than that. It's not like that bright spearmint. It's really nice. And the other thing that I love is that Old Forester has the like char, even though it's not super old whiskey, it has a nice char on it, which really gives that barrel characteristic. All right, let's have a sip. That is nice. It kind of wafts over the palate and then it's gone, but lingering spice. That was pretty light on the palate. Not like the flavors are light and bright, but more that it was like just kind of skipped over. That was weird. Let me do it one more time. Ooh. All right, rye spice kicking in there on the front. Or maybe that's just proof. It's tingly. It's not like herbal baking spice. It's tingly. More of like the caramel comes in on the palate. I'm not getting so much rye on the palate as I am on the nose. I'm also not getting the banana quite so much on the palate either, at least compared to just the Old Forester 100 proof by itself. The orange label. They're both 100 proof. That's going to get confusing. Right. Okay, so we've got a good baseline there. I'll leave it up to you guys. What should we do? Should we add the Sazerac, the Elijah Craig, the Bullet? Which one should we add next? Should we add the other bourbon, one of the other bourbons, or a rye? You guys let me know in the comments in the live chat. You know, I have top chat on. Are people in the live chat and it just did not auto go to live chat? That would be super annoying. No? Okay, so that's still the same amount of people. That's good. Oh, actually, speaking of this, I was kind of excited to buy this today because I saw on an Instagram post that Sazerac is coming out. Buffalo Trace is making a 100 proof Sazerac rye. Yeah, but which rye, babe? You gotta be specific. So, do you want the Sazerac rye, the Bullet rye, or the Wild Turkey rye? But yes, they're coming out with a 100 proof Sazerac rye for $40 for a liter, which is awesome because that's only about $10 more. Or, well, actually, it's $30 for, I bought it for $29 today for a 750. So if you go up to a liter, you think that's probably around $35, and you're getting a liter for $40 at 100 proof. So $5 increase. Do Bullet? All right, cool. Let's add some Bullet. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that 100 proof Sazerac. That's going to add a lot of backbone to cocktails. It's my favorite cocktail rye anyways. Okay, add a dash of MGP in there. That kind of killed the nose, actually. That's weird. It is a lower proof. This is 90 instead of the others being 100. Right? It is 90. Yeah. But it kind of just muted the nose entirely. And I only added about 75% as much as I did for the others. It's definitely herbal now. It lost all of that char, though. The banana's completely gone. Let's try a sip. You can tell it kind of took the proof down. It's not nearly as prickly anymore. It's actually sweeter. Not nearly as much char. There's a little bit on the back end that I'm getting. That is really crushable. I think if you just want something for cocktails, that's a pretty good blend for that. Dad would love this. Give this to Dad, and he'd put an ice cube in it and call it a day. It's just not quite interesting enough for me right now. I really love my whiskeys to have a really good nose. So I'm hoping that maybe in future iterations of this we can get something really interesting going. So. It added a nice citrus note, actually, on the back end now. Orange peel. It's actually drying on the finish, weirdly enough. So that is test number 1. Let's go with, we can do all sorts of stuff. Let's do, I love, hi, Christine. Long time no see. You get to see me 5 days in a row. I don't get to see you, but I know you're there. I'm going to do, you know what, Christine? Just for you. I'm making blends for fun. And this is one of the ones I picked up. All the bottles on the table are under $30. So we're going to use your favorite, Elijah Craig, as our base. That's probably a little more than I need for a blend. I'm not trying to get shellacked on a Monday. All right. And I'm going to... Sazerac or Wild Turkey? Vote, friends, vote. What do you want me to mix into the Elijah Craig? Wild Turkey 101 rye or Sazerac rye? All right, put all of these way too close together. That's very loud. Get litty. Josh, well, of course you would say that. I don't have to get up as early as you do. That's fair. But Sazerac, Wild Turkey, mixing with Elijah Craig. Wild Turkey, says L Wife. Is there consensus here? Christine's going the opposite way. I just killed that previous blend. The more expensive one, they're both $29 retail. I know, yeah, but it's not just they're both cheap, they're both the same. Okay. Lyndon poses a very interesting question. And I'm going to give the answer right here, right now, that I'm going to split the George T. Stagg with Carlos Sainz. 2 reasons. 1, I hate TX blended. Absolutely hate it. The other reason being Michael Schumacher hadn't won his titles with Ferrari yet in 1998. He had only won at Benetton. So, for that reason, I'm going Carlos Sainz this year, George T. Stagg. I think if you say share with Michael Schumacher in 2004, off the back of his last title with Ferrari, pick up better whiskey, I'm probably doing that. Mostly because Michael Schumacher is like one of the coolest people. Like, I always hear stories about how he had some like really interesting hangouts with people. He tended to party pretty hard sometimes, actually. And also he smoked cigars. I don't think Carlos Sainz smoked cigars. So yeah, could have had a stogie with Schumi, which would have been cool. Let's see. If they're both the same... Well, you know what? Actually, I have 2 glasses right here, so... Let's just do both. Let's do both. Also, I would get to ask Charles Leclerc... I would get to ask Carlos Sainz about Charles Leclerc and Ferrari and all the working on things that happen in Maranello. Plus, I bet you he's got lots of cool things to say about James Vowles, who seems like a pretty cool guy. Total nerd. All right, Whiskey Trek is going to have the Sazerac in it. And Bourbon Junkies Glass is going to have the Wild Turkey. You know, I brought pipettes in. I don't know why I'm not using them. Okay. See, I'm not a creep, Lyndon. I don't care what he smells like. Honestly, though, like, for real, Carlos Sainz, it would be super cool to get his insight on what's it like to be a Ferrari driver. What is that pressure like? You know, what is winning for Ferrari like? Um, and you kind of hope over sharing a bottle of whiskey, he gets more open than he would just talking to the media. Because, like, no one tells the media everything. Unless you're Zach Brown, and then you just don't really care. Or you're Christian Horner, who's about to get fired, and you say, yes, my backup plan for Max Verstappen is Oscar Piastri. Which is ridiculous. All right, for Christine, let's give this a try. Elijah Craig, Burr Rye, blended with Wild Turkey 101 Rye, Sazerac Rye. So this one will be higher proof because it's 101 plus 94. Whoa, that came out weird right off the rip. That's better. The Elijah Craig is making it strange. It's not very... There's not a lot of depth. I'm getting a lot of the Wild Turkey caramel. Rye spice and up front. I expected either the citrus or the baking spice to really pop on the Wild Turkey. And it's kind of not. It's kind of a blend of both. It's not really meshing very well on the nose. All right. Elijah Craig and Sazerac. This one smells better. Mostly because the Buffalo Trace stuff's kicking in. So you're getting these nice fruit notes. What kind of fruit is that? What if watermelon was spicy? It's a weird one to say. It's kind of all I got on the nose, though. It smells good. It smells weird. All right. Hey, cheers to you. Let's try the Elijah Craig blended with the Sazerac first. Yeah, it's okay. Fruity, a little bit of pepper, kind of caramel-ish on the end, and then it just kind of goes away. I got a little bit of that pepper tingle on my tongue a little bit still. It's nothing exceptional. These are both better by themselves than together. This is just weird. It tastes better than it smells. It's still odd. Although, you know what? I'm not a huge fan of Wild Turkey's Rye anyways. At least by itself. I bet it would make a great cocktail rye. Just not really for me. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not crazy about either of those. So let's... Well, you know, why not? Let's just see how they are all together before I move on to the next one. The first one we did was 100 proof, orange label plus the rye, and then we added in a little bit of the bullet. I still think so far the best has just been these two 50-50, which is actually surprisingly really good. Interesting. It muted the Wild Turkey a lot, which is nice. It was a little, it was too powerful. it was too much. Hey, Lyndon, if you're still in here, how did Sawyer do on the bicycle compared to the Gator? Oh, well, now the nose smells like nothing. Like, I actually have our little Enterprise D right there. I would have to get up to get it, though. You know what I'm wishing I had was a fan. That's kind of just nothing. When you take all of it, all of those four, well, actually, Elijah Craig, Sazerac, and Wild Turkey, and it's mostly Elijah Craig in that blend, I guess. Kind of just tastes like literally nothing. Okay. On to the next one. I want to do. Let's do a Buffalo Trace budget bur rye. Sazerac and Benchmark single barrel. I just kind of had this one already, so rather than buy a new one, I also don't have any regular Buffalo Trace. And my rule was it had to be $30 or less. Buffalo Trace is now $35, so it doesn't fit. Yeah, I have 9 fans because this is the first time we've ever live streamed ever. So literally anybody who comments is going to be a fan right now. But our concurrent viewers are 9. So there you go. It's not 0. And it's not just my wife either. Although she is one of them. But that's okay. She helps run the channel. So she's basically moderating right now. Ooh, I should give her... She has a wrench. Look at that. I didn't even have to do it. She's already got a wrench. All right. A little bit of the benchmark. I did answer your question. I answered it. I said Carlos Sainz and George T. Stagg. Yeah, you say that, but I'm not a Beam fan. I don't like the nuts. I don't like my nuts waxy and peanutty. Okay. Here is a little Buffalo Trace bur rye. Actually, Lyndon, did you know that there is... Oh, what's your second question? Oh, I didn't even see that. The best and worst taste in whiskey in the paddock. Well, that's a good question. I'm going to say the worst taste in whiskey is probably... It's got to be a rookie. I'm thinking Isaac Hadjar. He's Isaac Hadjar's French, so you think wine's kind of his thing, and also he's like what, 19? Best palate for whiskey? That's a good question. Well, Lewis Hamilton has a zero alcohol spirits company where he makes tequila. I don't know how good it is, so I don't know how good his palate is. I'm tempted to say someone like older, maybe in the paddock, Hulkenberg or Alonso. They just don't seem like whiskey guys. If we're going outside of drivers, then I'm gonna say Zach Brown. The guy's got a belly. He's from America. Sponsored by Jack Daniels. That's got to lead to something. Ooh, okay, this is nice. Sazerac plus Benchmark single barrel. The thing that's holding it back is that Benchmark single barrel is pretty young. So it does smell pretty youthful. But with a rye, that doesn't really bother me so much. Okay, so I actually thought about early times bottle and bond for this. And I do have 2 plastic caps back here, but they're both sealed. The other thing is I couldn't find a metal cap at the store that I went to today. Also, I live in Texas, so JTS brown bib doesn't come here. I've never actually tried it. Yeah, I've heard the McKenna as well as the early times standard as well are both horrendous. Don't touch with a 10-foot pole. But yeah, back to you, Lyndon. Zach Brown is the best if we're going outside of drivers, and worst in the paddock. I'm going to limit to drivers because I bet you so many people in the paddock are terrible. But I kind of get the vibe Isaac Hadjar. He's French, you know. Not as interesting on the palate as I was expecting. You know what it is? It's super heavy on the watermelon note from Sazerac, which is interesting, but I kind of thought it might be more balanced than that. Okay. We've had every bottle on the table in something. So far, the best has been from the Old Foresters. That's not surprising. I like Brown Foreman. So, I mean, yeah, I've got Brown Foreman and Brown Foreman right here. So, all right, with that, let's try and perfect. Yeah. All right. Let's get something cool going on. Okie dokie. So I think that the Old Forester Rye is doing a really good job here tonight. Oh no. My mic started falling over. That's not good. See, these are things that you find out when you're doing this for the first time, you know? Wonder how that got loosened anyways. Hey, see ya, dude. Thanks for hanging, bro. Oh, an old faux show. It's pretty funny. All right. Let's see. I just wish I could trust that. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I need a better table for this anyways. This thing sucks. Let's do a little experiment. What if we do Old Forester Rye with some benchmark? If we're going after a... ooh, and we can side that next to Old Forester Bourbon and Sazerac. Let's see. Do a little bit in there. Okay. Old Forester Bourbon. Oh, that was more than I wanted. That's all right. This is all just for fun and play anyways. And again, if you missed the start, this live stream is literally just, this is the first time I've ever done it, and I wanted to make sure the equipment works, and I wanted something fun to do while I did it. That's a good question, and then one of these things is better than the others, and a lot higher proof. So, where are you starting from? Starting from scratch and it's your first pour, or have you had some stuff before this? Because heavily depends. If you have had whiskey before this, the Balmoral, because it's the best of those three. If you haven't had anything yet, then I would say do a small pour of the iron root and then go into the double double. Because you want to appreciate the nice stuff. Yeah. Okay, first pour, do a little bit of the Grayson, and then do the double double. That way you can really appreciate how good the double double is. And the Balmoral is just going to blow out your palate the first sip. Yeah, StreamYard. I've heard about that. So this is my first time I just downloaded free stuff. I'm using OBS. Ooh, that's nice. It almost makes the Old Forester smell like Jack Daniels with a little bit of nuttiness. Double 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 double? Don't think I'm familiar with the double 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 double. Adios, Bresky. Matt, since you just joined, or maybe you've been here and you just haven't been chatting, rude. Making burr eye blends for fun. Currently, this is Old Forester rye with Benchmark single barrel. This is Old Forester bourbon with Sazerac rye. So, Old Forester Buffalo Trace. Which one's better? Let's see. Well, the bourbon smells like the Old Forester bourbon with the Sazerac rye smells like nothing. Old Forester rye with the Benchmark smells nice. It is a little nutty, which is weird because I don't really consider either of these things to be nutty. It's almost like the lighter profile of the single barrel is pulling out the youthful characteristics of the Old Forester that are usually hidden. Let's go ahead and try it. It's kind of nutty on the palate too. Really base sweet, lingering sweetness. I mean, I like Old Forester just in general. The cool thing is both of these have, it's one of each. So it's, does the Old Forester bourbon make a better burr rye with Sazerac, or does Old Forester rye with the Benchmark make a better burr rye? So kind of take it or leave it either way. This one, yeah, it's just weird that the nuttiness is coming out. This is the Orange Label plus Sazerac. Again, it just smells like nothing, which is weird. It even has more in the glass than the other one. If you really stretch, there's really just ethanol and a little bit of caramel and watermelon from the Sazerac. Okay, it's weird. It's not as interesting, but I like it better. Mainly because, as I've been saying, I don't really like nuttiness in my whiskey. And this is not nutty at all. In fact, it's literally just like straight caramel sweetness and a little bit of heat and rye spice. It has a nice lingering spice to it. So this is another one I said at the top of the live stream. It's a whiskey that my dad would love. Just pour half of a wine glass and put an ice cube in it and call it an evening. It's his kind of thing right there. Not so much for me, but all right, let's combine them before we move on to the next one. Just a way of consolidating glasses. So now this is Old Forester rye, Old Forester bourbon, Benchmark single barrel, and Sazerac rye. Okay, that's actually interesting. Maybe that's the way to do it. So the nuttiness is gone. It actually smells like something. It's sweet with a little bit of fruit and a little bit of barrel char. With a rye spice background, and I'm like barely rye spice. I'm not talking like baking spice. You just get the prickliness, you know. I think I'm definitely going to be researching over the next couple of days things like adding like the layers, like if someone subscribes, it does a pop-up, or things like that. Because I definitely want this to be better, but it's the first time. We're just chilling. It's more interesting on the palate. Which one do you want, babe? Put the combo in the chat that you want. And if you have specific ratios, that'd be cool. I can do that too. The nose is better than the palate. Not by a lot, but by a little. I mean, all four of them combined are just kind of, a little bit of spice, a little bit of sweet. It's kind of about it. There's a little bit of fruitiness in there, which I really like. So my wife and I started Whiskey Trek 2 years ago. And honestly, it was a way for her to have things for her marketing and advertising career put on her wall and to show to prospective people that were hiring. She knew I liked whiskey. She liked whiskey, and she thought I would do well on camera, and so she started doing it. And so we host videos together. If you check out our channel, we've got a few videos. We don't have a lot of followers because we don't really do it for money. We just like doing it. So it's just a fun time, and we'll keep doing it as long as we're having fun. And it's more fun the more people that join. Wild Turkey Rye and Old Forester Rye. So, a rye blend. All right. I got you, baby. Also, you need to change your name on YouTube. It's got the wrong last name. Which, thankfully, you finally changed your last name. Congratulations. Okay, yeah, so that's actually interesting. I have looked up quite a few of the at-home blends, and I've done 1915, but actually more than that. Let me grab it real quick. I made a custom blend for my wedding. So, hold on. See that? Whiskey Trek 2023. You can't really read the label super well from that angle, but it's called the Wedding Blend. It was 107 proof, and on the back, it gives all the details of what's in it. So let me read that out. So it is a blend of Jack Daniel's Bonded Rye, 25% of that. And then 25% of the blend is Old Forester 100 proof rye. And then 15% of the blend was Old Forester 1910. 15% was Old Forester 1920. I just used my 1915 for that. And then the final 20% of the blend was Larceny Barrel Proof C922. So it's actually a 4-grain, which is kind of cool. And it turned out great. I love it. It came out to like right around 107 proof based on my calculations. I also did one for my brother and sister-in-law's wedding, but I don't see the empty. Have we? I'm sure I posted a picture on Instagram. I don't know if we did a video on it or not. But yeah, it was really fun to do. I actually did my brother and sister-in-law's one in like 3 hours. Or that's a little exaggerated. Like 6 hours. Oops, sorry about that. Yeah, Matt and his wife really loved theirs. Not really my profile, but it was definitely theirs. Let me grab it real quick. Okay. So this is the one I did for them. This was called Whiskey Trek's Family Reserve, the M&M blend. See it right there. This one doesn't have a label on the back. The other ones had labels, I thought. But it was like Still Austin bourbon, and some other things. It had some Texas stuff in it because that's what he likes. It was lower proof than mine. Turned out great. I can't remember off the top of my head what was in it, but it doesn't have the list on it. I'll have to look it up on my phone in a second. Let me make my wife's blend real quick so she can come in and grab that. She didn't say... Yeah, she didn't say any ratios. So we're just going to kind of freehand it. We know the Wild Turkey is super overpowering on the baking spice. So we're going to lean heavy on the Old Forester for this. Yeah, that's good. And then we'll do a little bit of the Wild Turkey, just because that baking spice and citrus is really strong. But the nice thing is the proof is like super similar, so that's going to keep the proof consistency really nice. Oh, purple corn? I haven't heard about that one. That does sound super interesting. I have not owned the red corn or the blue corn. I didn't really love the red corn when I tried a sample of it. It's just a bit too funky for me. But I love their rye. Their bottle and bond rye was great. And my favorite is the high rye bourbon. This one's the best, in my opinion. All right, I'm going to swirl this while I look up what did I put in my brother's blend. For the life of me, I cannot remember. It's kind of embarrassing. Although that was a while ago. Ooh, that actually smells nice. It brightens up the Old Forester. The thing, though, it's funny you say funky crafty, because the thing I love about Still Austin and why they're probably my favorite Texas distillery is that it doesn't taste, a lot of their stuff doesn't taste like Texas, which that's great, because the Texas funk, you got to really be in a mood for it. It's like peated whiskey, like peated scotch. You got to really be in the mood for it. I love peated scotch, and I love Texas bourbon, but it's just not one of those reach for everyday kind of vibes, you know? Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Nope, that is mine. Golly. Is this just lost forever? Oh, there it is. I found it. Matt, I was real scared for you for a second, buddy. It's definitely odd. Matt, my brother, is coming from the place of leather and funk, Texas mesquite funk and stuff like that is just top notch. Along with Pete is just, he wants his mouth to basically be fucked by every flavor, except for how hot and spicy it is. He's a little bitch when it comes to that. Kind of odd, right? He wants it to be low proof and mellow, but also fuck your mouth type flavors. Can't really make that make sense. Ooh, bottle on the table is best versus least favorite. All right, I'm going to answer that next in just a second. Let me read out what the wedding blend is. So, the wedding blend. It's, that's funny. It came out to 98.6 proof by my calculations. So, blood temperature. It is 4 Roses single barrel blended with Larceny barrel proof. Wait, no, that's not right. Yeah, no. So 4 Roses single barrel blended with Larceny barrel proof with Woodford double oaked with Balcones pot still bourbon and Still Austin's musician bourbon. So, yeah, not bad. He loved it. So, I mean, that's kind of all that matters, right? Yeah, everyone likes a hundo proof, right? 107 is my sweet spot. That's why I made my whiskey 107 proof. That doesn't smell too bad. I'm going to try this. Natalie, come get your pour before I drink all of it. Let's see how it is. Okay, that's really good. So, on its own, the Old Forester rye is super dark and sweet. This really, with a little bit of the Wild Turkey 101, really brightens it up and packs a little bit of a punch. But it still is nice and sweet with those dark char flavors. It kind of takes the best of both and combines them. So it's not overwhelming like the Wild Turkey is, and it's not too sweet and not rye enough like the Old Forester might be. Yeah? What do you think, babe?
I want to be on there.
All right, come here.
Actually, I didn't coordinate any outfit or put on any makeup, but I'm part of this channel too.
Yes, you are.
I'm glad that wasn't open.
While you smell that, I'm going to answer this guy's question real quick. What is my favorite and least favorite bottle on the table currently? Well, I think my favorite bottle on the table right now, it's not that.
I don't think so.
My favorite bottle on the table right now is, I think it's the Old Forester Rye, which is funny because I buy the bourbon more often, and I buy Benchmark Single Barrel more often as well. But the rye is my favorite tasting. I can't make that make sense. Whatever. My least favorite on this table is the Wild Turkey 101 rye. I almost never buy it, but I really was interested to see how such a interesting rye would work in blends, which is why I bought it.
Dang.
I don't know why that's surprising.
I was gonna put that in my top 2. Never mind.
Have you had Wild Turkey 101 rye by itself?
Not in ages.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Okay, well, this is amazing. My throat's starting to get a little sore, so I know that's why I need this.
Yeah, Matt, this is not Elijah Craig barrel proof. This is just Elijah Craig.
Love you.
Love you too, Beeb. This is just the regular Elijah Craig. Nothing special. Yeah, the toasted barrel is really good. I have the toasted rye. Where is it? Right here. I've got the toasted rye. Yeah, I get why you say that about the Sazerac rye. And I definitely almost exclusively use it for cocktails when I have it. It's probably my favorite cocktail rye. It is low proof. That's why I'm excited for that 100 proof version to come out. Yeah, exactly. See, you were right there on it. The 100 proof announcement is really awesome. And I'm looking forward to it because I think it'll help it in cocktails a lot, stand up to a lot of the stronger stuff. But I do appreciate Sazerac rye by itself from time to time, just because where else are you getting watermelon on a whiskey, right? Like, I think that's so interesting. Part of the fun of having a diverse collection is not necessarily that everything is the most well-rounded, but that you get to try different flavors from anything you try. So you'll see, well, you might not be able to see from the camera, but I have so many store picks and single barrels and out there things because, you can get shelfers at bars, but I like to have interesting stuff in my collection that really is kind of wild and out there. That's kind of my favorite stuff. So. Oh, yeah, Matt, it should definitely replace Wild Turkey 101 as your cocktail rye.
I left my phone.
Well, that's embarrassing. And not cocktail rye, but as your cocktail whiskey. Also, I used to be, this, Matt, and for those of you who don't really know me as well, I used to be a Wild Turkey 101 fanboy. But lately, it's way too heavy on the cinnamon and not enough on the baking spice and citrus notes that I really liked from Wild Turkey 101 previously. So it's really fallen off the radar. Same as Rare Breed, actually. I used to adore Rare Breed. So much so that there was a box behind me. So much so that it was the bottle that I had for my wife when we got engaged. Had her sign it and date it and all that stuff. So, but yeah, old label Rare Breed. So good. It tastes like medicine to you? That's so funny. Well, maybe I'll pour a little bit by itself and we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I used to be a rare breed always guy. I just really am not anymore. It's just sad. But you know what? I loved. I'm still a wild turkey guy. Russell's 15. One of the favorite things I've had ever. um, I have this Camp Nelson F. Kentucky Spirit, which is phenomenal. I've got a Camp Nelson F. Russell's single barrel, which is amazing. I think my favorite wild turkey product that's come out lately has been that I've been able to buy. Let's be very clear that I've been able to buy is my 70th anniversary, which is better than the normal standard 8-year that they have out now. I was going to make a video about it, but kind of came late to the party. Saz Rye by itself. You got 2 Russell's 15? Oh, screw you, bro. I've already gotten through halfway through mine. Backups cost like $650 to $800 depending on where you're at in secondary right now, which is ridiculous. I mean, yeah, if you're going to compare, I've never owned a single Rick. And some single Ricks are better than others. I heard the C&E and C&F single Ricks were phenomenal. $300 is a lot, man. $300 is a lot. Sazerac Rye. Yeah, man, it smells like watermelon candy. Alcoholic watermelon candy. And not like that fake vodka crap, man. Like, it doesn't smell like that. The 8-year 101 is really good if you didn't find a 70th anniversary. It's really good. They're not nearly as similar in profile as I thought they would be. Like, honestly, I thought that they would be almost exactly the same. But the 8-year 101 is a lot more like current 101 than the 70th is. No, it's not the distilleries, man. It's freaking Campari. Campari, who owns Wild Turkey, they suck, man. That's what that's kind of what's awesome about the 8-year and the 70th anniversary is the Russells had a lot more control over the pricing of it because it was more of a shelf product rather than a limited. Even though the 70th was a limited release, it hit nationwide enough that they were able to have a little bit more influence on the pricing of it. That's why it was $50 instead of, I don't know, they could have charged like 90 for it, right? Especially knowing the occasion. All right, let's try it on. Let's try the palette on Saz. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice Kentucky rye. You get a little bit of the spice, but really it's nice and fruity and sweet. I don't really get medicine. I guess it kind of depends on maybe what medicine you had as a kid, right? Some things really pop for other people. So some people hate the bright cherry note stuff because it's like medicinal cherry. Some people really hate grape anything because they had grape medicine as a kid. You know, it kind of just depends on your history. Some stuff I am like, oh, that's like NyQuil or whatever, but not almost ever on bourbon. That's funny. The Russell's 13, the newest one. So I have a little bit. Man, I'm so close to killing it. Got a little bit left of my batch 4, I think. I'm pretty sure it's batch 4. And I love it. And this is like sour cherry. Like it's really like tart, which I think is really interesting. Again, I like different stuff. Hey, Travis. Cheers, man. I've actually heard the opposite on Russell's 13 from actual like whiskey tubers, like people who tried it and reviewed it. They were like yeah, it's good, but it's not like mind blowing, right? And I think that's kind of funny. You get this secondary market where even if they haven't tried it, people are just going crazy after it. They're like, it's like with new ECBPs. If a new Elijah Craig Barrel Proof comes out and it's, well, actually, B525 is a great example of that. It's the highest it's been since C923 in proof and in age, I think. And so people are going nuts. They're like, hey, like maybe this is the redemption because it's higher proof and higher age. And like it's good, but I mean, it's not like mind-blowingly crazy. That just shows how the secondary market behaves. Russell's 13 comes out and it's the highest proof it's ever been, and people are paying out the kazoo for them on secondary. And I've actually heard that the blending's not any that much better, if maybe better at all, than the previous batches. Yeah, secondary going off of someone's word. Who would have ever thought? Going bonkers off of nobody's word is probably more accurate most of the time. Oh, Natalie, you were a bubblegum family for medicine? No wonder you hate bubblegum notes and everything. I love getting bubblegum notes on stuff. I opened up when this was a fresh crack, the 1792 single barrel. When it was a fresh crack, it was like black pepper and like Hubba Bubba or something like that. Like it was crazy how it was so bubblegum spice, and it was fantastic. I loved it. She hated it. As soon as I pointed it out to her, she liked it before I told her, but then I pointed it out and she's like, "Oh, this is terrible." Oh, dude, C923, so freaking good. I am nursing this bottle hard. I'm nursing it hard, mainly because secondary now is 175 to 200. And I'm still considering it, right? Like I'm looking on secondary and I'm like, I never buy on secondary, but I don't know, there's some of these bottles, man, you're like, you never get them back. And they're only going to go up, right? C923 is probably one day going to go down with those like A1919. Wait. The January 2019 release for Elijah Craig. People go nuts after that one. It's going to probably be like that. I don't think it'll ever reach pirate bottle levels, but you know, it's going to go crazy. Wilderness Trail weeded. Are we talking like their baseline weeded or what? Because I've had their what did they do? They did some special 8-year bottle and bond or something like that. It was some limited release they did a couple years ago. I hated it. I got it in a sample once. I thought it was horrible. I like Wilderness Trail stuff well enough. Usually. Oh. Yeah, I'm not a Dickel fan. And you know what? Here's the thing. The Flintstone vitamin thing doesn't really bother me so much. Mostly because if you have it by itself, it kind of lends itself to be like a chalky cherry kind of taste, which is okay. I think when it's in other things though, it really shows up as like this bright minerality that's like very apparent. And it just like throws you off, you know? I wouldn't say it makes me grossed out. Like it's not like peanuts or let's put it this way. Depends on the Dickel. Sweetens Cove and what was that orphan barrel? Copper Tongue. Those two are Dickel products that I despise because they're like moldy, wet peanuts, which is nasty. Discovery Series 5, I didn't like by itself, But when I had it with cigar, it kind of took away the minerality, and then it was nice. Oh, that special was the rye. That makes sense. The rye mash bill. I get that. See, a wheated single barrel, I actually bought. I wish Adam was in here for this because I'm going to roast him so hard. My buddy Adam, he's basically a brother. I asked him to be a groomsman, and I got both of my biological brothers and Adam a bottle of whiskey when I asked them to be my groomsmen. So I got him a Wilderness Trail wheated bottle and bond, or was it a cask strength? Might have been a cask strength. Anyways, I got him a wheated Wilderness Trail because he loves wheated bourbon, and Wilderness Trail's cool. And then he didn't even make it to the wedding, so love you, buddy. Thanks for that. Okay, so it's interesting you say that, Travis, because I've never had, like, people always talk about those 15-year, like the squat Dickel bottles that, they can get, like the 15-year age-dated 90 proofs. People rave about them for being like, what, $70 or something? I've just never bought one. Especially when you're thinking, who buys Dickel 17 for $280 when you can get a 15-year Dickel down the street at Total Wine for $60? I mean, I'm sure that some of them are good. It's just kind of one of those things. It's almost like Henry McKenna 10 bottle and bond right now is one of those things. It's $70 at stores, and I see it everywhere in DFW. And it used to be a buy at $40 when I was in college, right? And it was always worth the risk. Some of them are amazing, and some of them are really terrible. So it was always kind of worth the risk at 40, but at $70, I'm out, right? That's too high of a price to risk it for the biscuit. I want to do another blend before I just start picking bottles out of the cabinet, because I have some stuff I want to try out of my cabinet, but I want to do one more blend. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So maybe, Travis, what you should do is send me a bottle and just rip the label off and put something else on there. I'll never know, and I'll think it's amazing. And I'll tell you, you know what? I could even do it on a live stream. You just send it to me, and I'll do it on a live stream. We'll see how good it is, and then you tell me afterwards, and then we'll see how it changes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So he did kind of have a really good excuse. He and some friends had planned this super expensive hunting trip like 3 years in advance. They had already put down deposits and all these things. It was going to be a lot of money. So, like, I totally get it, right? From a money standpoint. But if he's your brother, you got to give him shit for it, right? So. Yeah, okay. So the Heaven Hill bib, um I had one. Where is it? Oh, it's right up there. So, if you were in chat earlier, you know that I'm a huge Formula 1 guy. So, my brothers and I do a Formula 1 fantasy every year, and the first year was super chaotic, but we decided to do like hey, if you win, everyone else groups up and buys you a bottle. I got a Heaven Hill 7, obviously not that super fancy, but it was just a fun competition. So I made him, I signed it myself, and I was like commemorating this. I really like this. It's great with a cigar. And I've heard that they've gotten better. So I'm really interested to revisit this. I'm waiting till I see Old Fitz 7 in public, and I'm just going to buy both of them at the same time, crack them both, and do a review. Because, this seems like the fairest way to do it. Yeah, hey, Matt. If my brother is around, I'm sure we could call him up to get him over here. We got a Scotch Malt Whiskey Society bottle. This is one thing my brother and I do. We are joint members for a Scotch Malt Whiskey Society membership, and we just got a new bottle in. It is We're All Going on a Summer Holiday, 16-year Speyside, and it is the old and something. It's whatever the red is. We've never had the red, so interesting. Can't wait to try it. 55.7%, so good proof too. Maybe I'll call him in a second and see if he'll walk over here. Oh, there you are. Hey, yeah. If you want to walk over here, we can open it on live stream together. Or if you're afraid to be on camera. Nine-year product from Heaven Hill celebrating their 90th. That's going to be $150. Nah, I mean, maybe not, but probably. Oh, is it $250? Oh my gosh, that's so much worse. Hey, your wife's asleep. She's not going to know you left. Yeah, so, okay, if the newer batches of Heaven Hill 7 are better than the Henry McKenna 10, why am I risking it for $20 more? And that Heaven Hill 7 is way more consistent. You know, it's just weird. I said I was going to do another blend. I think we've kind of landed on a space. All right. So I think the most... If you want to do a straight rye blend, I actually think like a 75-25 of the 75% Old Forester rye with 25% Wild Turkey 101 rye works great. I think the best burr rye we've had was just a 50-50 split, man. Just do the two Old Forester 100 proofs together, and that worked great. But we're having some fun conversation, and I want to get into some interesting stuff. I bought something recently that I've never had before. And actually, Travis is the one who was the nail in the coffin for me purchasing this. So, thank you, Travis. I think it was you, at least. Horse Soldier, 10-year specs pick. It's 135.4 proof. Ooh, Matt's coming over, and we're going to open that scotch. So I'm going to wait on that. So I actually never bought the Heaven Hill Grain to Glass series. I really thought about it. I really did. And I heard that they were pretty good. I heard some were better than others. But for 80 to actually, you know, honestly, they weren't 80, they were $90. For $90 for, what were they, 7 years old? I was like, you know, I think I'm okay. I was interested to try them. And maybe I should have picked them up. I just kind of never knew which one to get, right? You walk up and there's 3 options. There was the wheat, the rye. What was the other one? Yeah, it was you, Travis. Yeah, $100 is definitely not. And honestly, they're pushing that, especially after tax. Yeah, so it's interesting. We're back on the Henry McKenna 10 years. I had, and this was in college when it was $40, right? So keep in mind that. $40 in college. Within 2 months, I had, from the same store, a single barrel that was so good. Just really consistent, well balanced, just fantastic profile. And then 2 months later, I went and bought one, and it took me over 2 years to finish the bottle because it just tasted like... Okay, I love Granny Smith apples. But you know when a Granny Smith is just way overripe? Like way overripe? You know, it's starting to like lose its like bright green, and it's going to like this yellowy green color. And oh my gosh, it was horrible. I hated it. Larceny and ECBP. Okay, so I don't have any Larceny barrel proof with me tonight. I have a B525. You know, Travis, you'll get this, and we can brag about this. I don't know if you bought it, but when Alec Bradley did that collab, when they did the barrel pick, this is probably my favorite ECBP store pick I've ever had. 11-year, 128.2 proof. And it went fantastic with the Alec Bradley Fine and Rares that I got in that bundle. It was super good. So yeah, Horse Soldier gets almost no chatter in Texas either. Like literally at all. The only reason I know about it is from Bourbon Junkies. And I've never had a Horse Soldier product at all. I saw this 10-year in the cabinet at Specs, and I was like, well, that's interesting. 10-year Barton, I just kind of needed to know, is this something worth jumping on? And Travis pushed me. So we're going to see if Travis is right tonight after the scotch. That would just be weird. How do you make barrel proof scotch taste like water? Drink 135 proof bourbon first. What's some other interesting things while we're waiting on my brother? Oh, speaking of brothers, you ever have those pesky brothers that take your whiskey without asking? Me too. And what do they always take? The one thing you don't want them to. So, here's a fun story. I had 2 bottles of 1920 in my cabinet. And my brother Lyndon, while I was out of town one weekend, came over and stole a pour of Old Forester 1920. For reference, my brother Lyndon does not pour 1.5 to 2 ounces. He pours 2.5 to 3.5 ounces. I'm talking in a Glen above the top of the bowl. Heavy pour guy. Well, he takes a sizable pour of Old Forester 1920. You think, whatever. But I'm really good about keeping track of the fill level of my bottles. And he took 3 ounces out of my old 1920. That one kind of hurt. I bought this on secondary, so. Hey, Brisky.
What's up, dude?
Way to represent your own show on your shirt.
Woot.
Woot woot. Let me scoot over real quick. Yeah.
Hey, Demon Cat.
You can push him off there and bring that chair over.
He's being sweet.
If you stand, you're not going to fit in the camera.
That's fair.
You can just push him off.
We'll see if he gets down by himself.
Let's make some room, shall we? Let's do it. Matt, you're going to have a computer in
That's alright.
between us, actually. I'm going to move it in between us so I can still read chat. This has been fun.
Oh, yeah, you gonna bite me?
Welcome to the club, bro. Okay, dokie.
I see 2 glasses down there. I don't
Yes, that's fine. Just don't pick them. So.
Yeah.
It is a tight squeeze back here.
It's not a 2-person space.
It is if you're my wife.
Yeah, well, I am slightly larger than your wife. Just slightly.
Okay. All right,
Hello.
gents. So let's see. There's a glass for
And
you.
potentially ladies.
Actually, you know what? You can use the Amendment 21 glass.
Okay.
And potentially ladies. I know my wife was on here. Christine was on here too. That's cool.
That's nice.
So again, 16-year Speyside. I don't remember what distillery this is from. Someone I'd never heard of. 55.7. It is. We're all going on a summer holiday, which I freaking wish.
Yeah. No summer holiday this year. Next year. Sort of. It's a spring holiday.
It's not even late spring. It's early spring.
Very early spring.
Okay.
Luckily, my sinus stuff has gone away. Oh, the red label is the Old and Dignified, by the way.
Old and dignified. I couldn't remember the second.
Yeah, Old and Dignified.
All right.
Ooh. That smells nice.
Dark plum.
Mm-hmm.
Dark plum raisin. Which is funny. I don't think it's sherry finished.
I don't think it is either.
Ex-bourbon hogshead and first fill high toast medium char hogshead. So, no sherry.
Still fruity though, very fruity.
But it's like a smoky as well. And
But
it's
not
not
a peated smoky. No peat.
it's not peated smoke. It's just like smoky from the toast and char. Heavy toast really comes alive with malted barley products. Like the two really work together.
Yeah. Something a little chocolatey, maybe a little definitely caramelly.
What if there was chocolate in a pastry? What kind of pastry?
Like a croissant. It's like a chocolate buttered croissant.
There you go.
Like a chocolate buttered croissant.
Croissant.
Croissant. You want coffee and croissant? That's all that she ever wanted, Jackson, was coffee and croissant.
Oh, Matt. So you're going to love this comment. Look at this guy. He said, another bottom shelfer worth the money. Very Old Barton Bottled and Bond.
No.
Tell your horror story, Matthew.
Very Old Barton was my college whiskey. Now, granted, it wasn't the Bottle and Bond. It was the bottom shelf 1.75 liter you could get for $25. That shit was poison. Ugh. I did, for a friend's 21st birthday, we went shot for shot, and we lost count at 22. And
22.
yeah, I had a lot of jalapeno cheddar Cheetos that night. Those are not good the second time. So yeah, no, Very Old Barton is a no-go for me on virtually anything and everything always. Anyway, you want to try this, Jackson?
Oh, yeah. Let's go ahead. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on chat, too.
I'm sure you're right, but just the thought of Very Old Barton just like makes me gag a little bit in my throat. So, I'm sure that it's got better things than, the what I was drinking. No doubt.
This is good. So while you taste it, I'm gonna go ahead and say, Travis, the 123 proof Sagamore. Go to your friends Dan and Sean for Evernorth to get that. The other thing is I have had some Sagamore Cast Strength, and it is fantastic.
Hi, Demon Cat.
Also, I'm going to run real quick. I need Natalie's charger because mine is not keeping up with the amount of battery we're using real quick. So I'll be right back.
Am I supposed to entertain people while you're gone?
Yes, you are.
Oh, well, you scared the Demon Cat.
He's a demon cat. He's fine.
Well, now he's gonna come bite me. Oh, hi. Hi, Demon Cat. Sweet boy. Well, hi, everybody. By the way, I'm Matt. I'm the middle brother. Jackson's the youngest brother. So thanks for having me on. I come on occasionally if you're a fan of the channel. I'm generally on here to talk about Scotch because Scotch, much like a friend Ron Burgundy, is kind of my go-to for the whiskeys. And it's one of my favorites. This so Jackson was telling you guys a little bit about our Scotch Malt Whiskey Society stuff. We try to get at least a couple bottles every year. When you split the price, it's really not that bad, so totally worth it. This one's very good though. I'm getting kind of like old tobacco, but like good old tobacco, kind of like pipe smoke. A lot of definitely very barley heavy. Of course, it's a malted barley mash bill, because it's a Scotch product. The proof is really nice. It's got a nice warmth to it. It doesn't overly linger at the back of the throat, but it does coat the tongue quite nicely in a good finish. I'm definitely really liking as Jackson fiddles with all of his things. I definitely am really liking this. We've never had an old and dignified before, so I've always been curious what a Scotch aged longer than 16 years would taste like.
Well, we've had that.
I guess you're right. Yeah, we do have that the dark arts over there.
We've had a
and this is 16, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
well, then a Lagavulin 16 would technically classify as old and dignified then, because and I love Lagavulin 16.
So this is the thing. We've had a few scotches older than that. So we've had the Godfather from Scotch Malt, which was 19.
Yeah, that was good.
We've got the Dark Arts, which is 29.
Yeah, it's over there.
Which is Dark Arts is so
show it. It's so cool.
I've got my Week of Pete Belvini, which is 19 as well.
Yeah, this thing is cool.
But the cool thing about Scotch malt is they have their color-coded flavor profiles. So when they say old and dignified, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's older than every other flavor profile. It just means that it tastes old and dignified.
Man, you really cannot. You can't even read the bottle. Yeah, you gotta like. Here we go.
You gotta like.
Man, it's awesome. No, I love the dark arts. This thing is it's really cool, and it's delicious. That was that was a wedding gift from our father, on recommendation of you, by the way.
Oh yeah, recommendation. I picked it out. He paid for it. My dad paid for it. I didn't pay for this.
Well, anyway, old and dignified. So okay, Jackson, I gave a couple of my top tasting notes.
Yeah.
Good pipe tobacco. Definitely malted barley. It's not super oaky, but there's just a little bit in there. The toast is really nice. Kind of a little bit. I like that chocolate croissant on the nose.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure that it really translates into the flavor profile too much. It's more fruity than it is savory or sweet. So yeah, I don't know. It's really good. What are your thoughts?
Man, I'm shocked how fruity this is.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought, based on the finishes that we had, that it was going to be a lot more of your base, like malted barley with like these dark caramel, more bourbon flavors than it ended up being. I think on the palate it is more of that, but I love that it is these dark fruits and tobaccos and smoke. I think that's very interesting. It's nice if you don't love peat, but you kind of want to get onto that train. Like this is a great
flavors.
segue. This is a great segue to smoke. Yeah. It's more of that meaty smoke. Yeah. You know how
like a good pork chop.
Yeah. Some Bruichladdich peat is like this. Octomores are very like smoky, meaty peats. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of like a in between. If you're trying to bridge that gap.
Because it's not peaty at all, but it is a little smoky.
And it's also it's not so like a lot of times space sides aren't our favorite, right? Because they're a little bit too light and sweet. Mm-hmm. And this is a nice dark and sweet and smoky. Yeah. It's different than most space sides.
Is it a space side product?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
It sure is.
I never would have guessed space side.
It's great.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, and
Quite
it was
delicious.
not nearly as expensive as some of the others.
Yep. All right, man.
How cool.
Well, thanks for having me over.
Thanks for coming, man. Yeah. That was fun.
Enjoy the rest of your live stream, buddy.
Yeah, we're about to get into I think I'm going to get into that horse soldier.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Here. I'm going to hand this to you.
Yep. Just get it out of your space.
This is what happens when you live on the same property, yeah?
Yeah, that's the point. All right, demon cat, have your chair back.
Oh my gosh, that cat is such a demon.
Come here, baby.
Like, literally crazy. All right.
Your Glen is on top of your Yeti, so cool. Just don't.
Appreciate you.
Bye, guys. Have fun.
See you, Matt. Or not see you. Looking for his flashlight. Your Maryland-proof flashlight?
Yes. Night.
Night, bro. Well, that was fun. Hope you all enjoyed that. All right, as I said, I think we're going to go back to the horse soldier now. My live chat on my computer has frozen. So give me a second on the live chat while I pull it up on my phone. All right, Punkard. Dude, it's so crazy. They have so many Scotch distilleries, like more than you would ever possibly think about, right? Like Scotch can go in so many directions. They have so many distilleries. It's kind of hard to know sometimes which one is going to be right up your alley. I have not heard of those two. I've heard of a lot, but I haven't heard of those two. All right. Travis, if you're still in here, listen, Travis, by the way, do me a favor, because I know you're in the group chat, in the Discord. Please go give everyone shit for not being here, because we're having fun. So go give everyone shit. Hopefully they'll show up next time, or they'll show up while I'm still doing it. I want to have this whole horse soldier really bad. So let's just go ahead and do that. Where's the tear strip for this, man? There's the perforations. Freaking sucks. Yeah, done, baby. No, they're not big either, dude. Those Scotch distilleries, they're small. And the crazy thing is that it's not that they're small because they're new. They're old as hell. So those Scotch distilleries, they're putting out... they might be laying down 10,000 barrels a year or less, which for big distilleries is nothing. I bet you on the smaller distilleries, they're laying down 500 barrels a year or less. And a lot of the stock that they have, like, for instance, that one that they get at Scotch Malt Whiskey Society, you know, they're up in the 15 plus range, and some of them are up in the 30s. It's crazy. Crazy. Okay, first, Horse Soldier. Look at the freaking color on that. Look at the color on that. Nice dark red. Ugh. We love a bourbon with a red tint. Oh, somebody clip that. Somebody clip that. Holy cow. What a cork pop. What a cork pop. All right. Also, I don't know if this is on every Horse Soldier product, because again, this is the first one I bought. This has a really nice like coin in the middle of the cork. Look at this. Can you see that? Oh no, the light's bad. There you go. You could kind of see it at the end there. I need like 4 lights, I guess. I have 2 right here, but I need some further back so the camera can kind of focus on it. But yeah, it's this really nice like little coin right here. 135 proof Barton. Sorry, 135.4 Barton. 10 years, picked by specs. Yeah, it smells really good. And it's still a little hot, right? Because it's a fresh crack. Fresh crack. And it already smells good. And honestly, it doesn't smell nearly as hot as 135.4. So, yeah. Again, repeat. Horse Soldier, 10-year specs pick. So, single barrel, 135.4. Sourced by Barton. I don't believe this is weeded. I know a Horse Soldier mostly does weeded bourbon. Let's see. Let's read the back. Let's do a Matt Porter, everybody. This is a Matt Porter segment right here. Ready? All right. Proudly crafted by U.S. Army Green Beret veterans. Cheers, boys. Using the finest quality, all-American ingredients. Our mission is to share the high-caliber whiskey our team prefers to drink. This award-winning bourbon is a product of our patience and relentless pursuit of excellence. This 10-year-old single-barrel Kentucky Straight bourbon whiskey is non-chill filtered and bottled at barrel strength to ensure its distinctive and robust character. Distilled and bottled for Horse Soldier bourbon in Somerset, Kentucky. So, yeah. Barton. It doesn't say it's weeded. Most Barton is not. I'm going to go ahead and on a whim and say it is not weeded. So, okay, Punkard, I bought this at Specs for $108. $108, which actually for 10-year 135 proof single barrel from a craft distillery sourced legacy is really not bad in today's market. $13-year hazmat. Okay, well, that sounds awesome. Silver ones are weeded. Okay. That helps. Thanks, Travis. So, this is not weeded, like I thought, 'cause I'm so smart, right? Super intelligent. Black So it's not the silver label. So it's not weeded. The more you know. All right, it's had a little bit of time to air out. The color is still amazing. It's not crazy dark, but it's really good. I think after this, I might do Bourbon Junkie's new 13th Colony Rye pick. Might do that. That'd be fun. Oh, man, that is nice. A lot of people say Barton smells like dirt. Which I didn't know until recently, but I've heard it more and more recently. I don't get the dirt. Okay, maybe a little bit. But it's not off-putting. Mostly I'm getting this really nice ripe cherry. Like, imagine, you know when you get a black cherry, like, it's still a little bit of a red color on it, but it's the darker cherries. They can be nice and tart, right? That's what this smells like. It's dark, but it's tart at the same time. There's also some funky oak going on, which is kind of interesting. The live chat on my Mac is still freaking terrible. If I have a frother, I do have a frother. You want me to froth some whiskey? You know, we did a video on that. Check out Whiskey Trek's YouTube. We did a video on that. We frothed some whiskey. Actually, it just kind of made the palate less interesting. It was easier to smell, but it made the palate worse. Yeah, this is not typical Barton. This is more Calumet Barton, honestly. This smells like, what if Calumet 16 was high proof? Dart. I love that. Well, all right. Natalie, if you're listening, bring me the frother? Natalie, bring me the frother. It's like, this is a Star Trek channel. Let's not get things mixed up. Love Trek. I'm also a Star Wars fan. I've got a lightsaber. Not afraid to admit it. Love Star Wars. Bring me my shuttle. Or frother. I really want to try it, though. I'll give her 15 seconds. Check chat while she's doing that. Hey, there you are. Way to go, girl. Thank you, babe. Okay, so this is the thing. Knob Creek single barrels. Everyone talks about the heyday when you can get 15 plus year single barrels, right? Which are so cool. Now, Knob Creek's in a weird position where they have two different single barrels. You can get a 9-year single barrel, or you can get their single barrel selects, which can be anywhere from 7 to 10 years, right? And now I even think they're doing proofs higher than 120, because they used to just cap them at 120. I think they're doing barrel proof ones now, which are like in the 123, 125 sections. All right. Sufficiently frothed. Yeah, I should have done that for the camera. Man, I'm dumb. All right. We got to get better at this. Oh, that helped the nose a lot. Ooh, yeah, way less astringent. It smells like Calumet 16, but a little bit less fruity and a little bit more oaky, which is kind of funny. I think it's probably more of the tannin oak rather than like the actual oak profile coming through. It's not musty. The new Calumet, yeah, dude. Calumet 18, if it wasn't $500 and if you could actually find it, holy crap, dude. I'd spend $275 on Calumet 15 or 15. I would spend $275 on Calumet 18. I've heard it's incredible. Yeah. All right. This is Horse Soldier 10-year, 135.4 proof, lightly frothed. Ooh. Ooh, yeah, that's nice and hot. You know what I love about high proof whiskey? The finish is forever. Like, it just goes on for days, man. Love it. I think my main criticism right up front, it's not quite as viscous as I would want, especially for the proof. You think 135 plus, you're getting into some really viscous stuff. That's kind of what I love about the 13th Colony stuff, is theirs is always like such a thick pour. And this one's a little bit, I wouldn't call it thin. It really coats the tongue well on the finish, especially. But I think on the front and mid palate, I was expecting it to hang a little more, to be a little bit more chewy almost. But wow, yeah. All right, I'm going to read chat real quick, and I'm going to go back to it. Let my tongue kind of recover a little bit. Oh, yeah, for $110, dude. Yeah, I think so. I mean, look at the whiskey market today, right? We were talking earlier about the grain to glass stuff. That's 100 proof, and those are $100 from Heaven Hill. And they're younger than this, and they're not as interesting as this, and the profiles are worse than this, and the viscosity is worse than this, and like, they're just not an experience, right? It's really important in today's whiskey market to talk experience when it comes to price tag. What are you getting not only from a legacy distillery or craft distillery standpoint for your value, but what's the experience you have when you taste it? Or even the value could be, what's the experience you have when you share it? I think Buffalo Trace does a really good job of adding their value at the shared level, especially to newcomers or aficionados, even depending on the bottle, right? If I have someone come over and I know they like whiskey, then I'm going to share my George T. Stagg or my E.H. Taylor Barrel Proof, because that is a huge value adding experience. They know that those are bottles they might not be able to get themselves, that we can share that experience together and think, wow, that's so cool. While some bottles are just, wow, that taste in my mouth is just such an experience. And I think that's one of these things the Horse Soldier does really well. I actually think 13th Colony, specifically, they're double oaked. This is batch 2. This is best of both worlds. This is not only amazing value for a shared experience, but also for a taste experience. There's nothing like this that tastes like this. And people know that. So when you share it with them, that value increases exponentially. Such a good bottle. All right, let's check up on chat before I have my next sip. I would say this one's not drying. I've had stuff way more drying than this, for sure. Okay, actually, so Travis, it's funny you say if they have them hanging around. I went to that Specs today to buy all the bottles for this, and they had like 5 of them in the cabinet now. When I bought mine, it was the only one left, but they had 5 more in there. Yeah, okay, so Punkard, I'm going to brag a little bit. And Travis, I don't know if you know this. Actually, you know what? I know you don't know this. I was gifted that bottle, that 13th Colony Double Oaked Batch 2. I was gifted it. It came out a month and a half, 2 months before I got married. Could not afford it. No chance, right? Right? I actually had a link to early access. I had access an hour before the drop, but it was... I just couldn't pull the trigger at the money mark. And it really hurt. You know, you're sitting there like, this is a once in a lifetime bottle. But I had not even maybe 1 month into Whiskey Trek at this point. I was just like, I just can't take that right now. I've got the honeymoon coming up. I've got the wedding to pay for. We got all these things. And I got the bottle in the mail. A certain someone that a lot of people in this channel would know got that bottle for me, and they know that I love them very, very much. Let me see. I can't say for certain who bought the bottle for me. I can't say for certain, but it might have been some really cool people that you probably know. Let's put it at that. All right. Ooh. Yeah. All right. Second sip. Almost even better, honestly. More fruity. Way less of the burn. I love that this finish goes on forever. I will say, I think one knock on it, it's not the most complex thing. I was kind of hoping for a little bit more of a journey. But for $110, you get enough of an experience from the blast of flavor, from the cherry and the oak, and how long the finish is, that I think it's still worth it. I think if it had more of a roller coaster ride on the mid palate, I think you're into the 150 territory, which is super cool. But it doesn't need to be that, right? It's not that price. Dude, yeah, the Bourbon Junkies. They are the coolest dudes. I love hanging out and talking to those guys. You can't meet better dudes, honestly. And like, they get flack on some of their YouTube videos. They did one recently that they got a lot of flack on. Travis and I are good friends with those guys. Talk to them daily, honestly, and super privileged to do that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, but no, they're great guys, and they are as genuine in person as they are on camera. Can't recommend it enough. If you guys ever go to like their yearly meetups that they have, I'll see you there, man. I will see you there. Ooh, did the stream crash? Oh, we're still live. Okay, good. I saw the window just refresh itself on my laptop, and I freaked out a little bit. But we're still good. We're here. Okay. Just got a Rebecca Creek double oaked Spanish oak. Those are difficult down in Texas, I was told. Oh, yeah, dude. So this is my wife's favorite or second favorite bottle, and we've had 4 of them. You can't find them anymore. Let me tell you the tragedy, right? While I drink this, let me tell you the tragedy of the Rebecca Creek Spanish oak double oaked cast strength, specifically the cast strength. Okay, I actually had the pleasure of meeting the guy that runs the Rebecca Creek Distillery. And he told me that actually the Spanish Oak project was a total accident. It got to around COVID time, and, well, they kind of ran out of barrels. So they started transferring and dumping into Spanish Oak. Some of the transfers that they were making, because there was a shortage of American Oak, they were transferring their stuff from the American into the Spanish, ended up being those double oaked barrel proofs. And when they started tasting them, it was literally just supposed to be we have nothing else, we have these, let's put them in this. They started tasting them after a while, and they were like, holy shit, these are amazing. Like, yeah, they're freaking incredible. What they didn't know was what the market might be like. So in 2021, early 2021, they started releasing them to shelves. $45. Shit you not. $45. One of the best prices for that bottle. Like, that bottle is another one of those. And Stag Junior is a great comparison for experience. We're talking high proof, high intensity, lots going on, great experience. And for $45, well, of course, everyone went crazy as soon as they found out about it, so the price went up to $60. And then the price went up to $70. And then they stopped making it, so then they were charging $150 at the distillery for them. And you can't find them on the shelves anymore. They don't sell it at the distillery anymore. It's gone. It's gone. It was a limited thing, and I wish I had stockpiled a bunch. But I've got half a bottle left, and it's fantastic. Never had a bad one. I think there's a lot of... so Travis, you think Horse Soldier versus Stag, and it beats it. Well, you want to find out? Yeah, man. 150 to the distillery. It was crazy. They were kind of worth that, though. But yeah, I'll pour a little bit of Stag Junior for you. Let's do a little comparo, yeah? Not that one. I guess it'll be this one. You guys ever have those Glens, like you favor one over the other? Me too. Just me? What do we think? 24A. It's fruity. Or 24B. Sorry, not 24. 22B. 22A, 22B. I've got another one back there. Which one is that? 24A, I think. Ugh. Got it. Yeah. All right, we got 22A, 22B, and 24A. The truffle whiskey? Oh my gosh. You know, I hate truffle. I don't know. What would you rather have, the truffle whiskey or the Carolina Reaper whiskey? Kind of terrible. I think as a Texan, I'm taking the Carolina Reaper whiskey. 24A? Let's do it. Let's do it. 24A it is. My wife went to bed. She got tired. Lame. It's only 11:20. I got work tomorrow, but whatever. All right. In this glass, we've got Horse Soldier 10 Spec Spick, 135.4. In this glass, we've got Stag Junior 24A, 127.6. 10 years, probably 8 or 9. Dude, if Brandon lets you try that, let me know. It almost killed Sean. All right. I'm going to start by smelling the Stag. I think what always gets me about Stag Junior, and why Stag Junior has always been it was my first like holy grail, right? You're getting into whiskey, and I think my attainable was, in my first year, my attainable goal was E.H. Taylor Small Batch, which at the time, it was 2020, you couldn't get it. And then my holy grail was Stag Junior. And the reason why I love the dark char and I love the cherry. If you watch the channel, then I am all about dark, intense, and oak and fruit. So I hate to be a okay, whiskey glasses. I've actually never owned one. I've only drinking out of like 3 of them. But it's kind of unfortunate. I try to not be a Buffalo Trace stand boy, but Stag Junior just hits it right for me. Yeah, Glens, you got to be careful. I would say they take more of a beating than you'd expect. I've never broken one by hand washing. I've had 2 break in the dishwasher, but we mostly dishwash ours, and they're fine. We put them on the top rack. Only on the top rack. Yeah. I've actually dropped one, and it survived like 4 bounces. And then I tried to catch it with my foot, and after it rolled off my foot, then it shattered. That was heartbreaking. Because, you know, you're so close. You're like, oh my gosh, it survived. Let me stop it. And then it breaks. And you're like, if I just hadn't touched it, it would have survived. Damn, dude. First store pick was a Stag Junior? You're older than me, so I guess that makes a little bit of sense, but still. Yeah, I have one of those where it's like the styrofoam bits on the end and you twist it in there to make sure you get the bottom of it. Hold on. Pinkard, let me make sure I'm reading that right. Peugeot, like the auto manufacturer from France? They make glassware? I mean, they used to make a bunch of stuff, but like, there's no way it's the same, right? While you answer that. So it's funny. I think the Horse Soldier is older, but there's more of an oak influence on the Stag. Actually, it's kind of close. The Stag smells just as hot. Your wife broke 2 by hand washing? Or she's squeezing them or something? Goodness. Might have slipped out of her hand and landed on the countertop or something. Okay, I will say these actually smell really kind of similar. So, and Calumet / Barton is always on higher age stuff, at least similar to Buffalo Trace in terms of that like cherry fruity note and oak profile. So these actually kind of smell more similar than you might expect. The Horse Soldier is definitely brighter, lighter, more vanillas, and the Stag is darker, more Luxardo cherry, charcoal, like barrel char. But they're still like, both are cherry. It's just kind of different types of cherry. It's very nice. All right, Stag 24A. Ooh. Nice and spicy on the palate. Okay. The Stag spice. I think Luxardo cherry is a really good description. It's sweeter up front. The cherry at the back of the palate turns into that like black cherry that we were talking about earlier, where it's like that tart black cherry. Dart, right? Dark, tart, black cherry. I kind of expected more of an explosion at the end. but it's really nice, like decrescendo, right? Like it's just like slowly going away, just like holding the note out as long as it can, which is really nice because it leaves you with like, it's like making your mouth salivate with like this tart cherry and barrel char. You're like, ooh, yeah, I want to go back to that. All right, on to the horse soldier. I should put the bottles that are competing up front. Okay. I will say, up front, the horse soldier, not quite as good. Mid palate, woo, nice. It's that tart cherry we were talking about. It's way more bright than the stag. There's not nearly as much of that dark barrel char going on anywhere in the palate. I think it sticks with you much more. The mid palate finish continues and continues and continues. Rather than this being that slow fade, this is just, if the horse soldier feels like it's sitting mid palate for me right now. Very interesting. Very interesting. All right. We got about one sip left of each. Going to go back to the stag. You know, I'm a musician myself. Not currently. I sing. But I played tuba in high school. Okay. Yeah. I think I like the darkness that comes from the stag a lot. I wish it had as good of a mid palate as this does. That's really interesting. I think the Stag Junior is kind of let down a little bit on the mid palate. I think on the second sip also, it doesn't do as well on the finish. Interesting. I think up front, the Stag Junior blows the horse soldier out of the water. As soon as it touches your tongue, you know exactly what you're tasting. I like the flavors of this more. I think this might be a better overall palate experience, if that makes sense, right? Like, put these flavors with this palate experience based on like front, mid, finish, etc. And I think you got a really good winning quality. I'm really interested to see how the horse soldier opens up. Oh, trombone, yeah. Dude. Bass clef, brass section all the way. Brass monkeys. Those funky monkeys. Yeah. Okay, that last sip of the horse soldier, it was a little bit missing up front. So it's almost the Stag Junior up front is like this explosion right there. You're like, whoa. And then it kind of slowly fades. And this is kind of almost the other way around, where right up front, it's kind of like, huh? Whoa, there it is. So really interesting comparison. Trumpet and French horn. Dude, the French horn has like the hardest embouchure ever. How do you make your embouchure that small? Yeah, okay. So it is interesting that these are kind of batting same for same, right? And it's cool, right? Like, honestly, I'm being for real. I came in with bias, right? I know I love this. And this is my first time having this. But I mean, the comparisons really are there. Like, if you can't find this, but you might know someone that might have done a pick of the horse soldier. And to be clear, again, this is a barrel pick, right? This is 135 proof, 10-year, the whole shebang, right? But you're more likely to find, if you're going to find either one of these, this one's probably going to be cheaper. Just probably. And like, it's pretty close. Hey, thanks for checking it out, man. You were so close to using the right emoji. This is a Star Trek channel, Mr. Mom. So we use the Vulcan salute on this channel. Just giving you a hard time, man. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Yeah, so it's funny you say that, Travis. Price when you buy a stag is usually $100. I mean, it just so depends on who you're buying from, right? Like, maybe you luck out at a big box store and you get it for $70, right? Total Wine Specs might have it if it's on the shelf at the right time. If you're going to a small mom and pop shop, then in Dallas at least, a lot of times that's going to be a bottle that you have on rewards, right? With points or maybe a raffle or something like that. I got this one because I have a buddy. I'm really close with the guy that runs the liquor store in my college town, Abilene, Texas. I went to Abilene Christian University. Scratch my cats. And there you go. See, you got it right. There you go. So anyways, I got it from him and I had to pay $130. I was willing to pay it, right? You know, it's how often do you get a Stag Junior, especially in Dallas? A lot of the people in the DFW area are eating those up. So not upset about it at all. I'm not one of those guys who is like, oh, it's Buffalo Trace, it's only worth MSRP. Like, guys, I get it, right? Buffalo Trace stuff's really good. I don't mind paying up a little bit more. I'm not crazy, though. I'm not paying $250 for a Stag Junior. All right. So, let's do a little vote. What are we going to have next? I've got some interesting stuff. Let's see. One of the options is this new Bourbon Junkie pick, 13th Colony Rye. 9-year, 9-month, finished with French oak spirals. It is, the tater sticker is 13th Colony's secret stuff, like secret sauce. What else should we put up against that? I got something else recently. What was it? The other interesting thing I got was low proof. I got the 1792 cognac. If you guys want to know about that, I could do that. I did not get a Holiday 8-year. You know what? I've actually been thinking about some of those Ben Holiday special releases. You know, they're starting to do the single barrels of the 8 years and stuff, which is cool. I do have the Bourbon Lore one. Ooh, Four Roses single barrel. I actually... Where is it? I have an OESO. It's not crazy, but I do have it. Hey, Whiskey Wisdom, what's up, man? Good to see you, dude. Glad you're here hanging out, man. That's awesome. Cast strength rye versus cast strength rye. Oh, dude. I've got a really interesting idea, actually, that I was thinking about doing for a video. I've got a bunch, I think I have exactly 4 bottles of high age statement. We're talking 9 to 11 years, MGP rye. no double oak, no finish, whatever, right? And I think that's super interesting. So I was thinking about, I've got Prideful Goat 8-year rye, and this will be a video. This won't be on the live stream. I've got Prideful Goat 8-year rye that I could put up against my 13th Colony. This one is finished, but it fits the bill, right? 13th Colony, it's 9-year, 9-month MGP rye. I've got Sagamore's 9-year rye. I've got, oh gosh, I had 2 more. What was it? Or I had 1 more. What was it? I'm forgetting. Anyways, I think that'd be cool. High age statement, barrel proof MGP rye. That'd be cool. And those 95.5s, the older they get, the more interesting they are. I hate port finish. So that kind of adds up for me, right? I got the 1792 cognac at $40 at a local spot. No other requirements. I just picked up $40. It's good. I hate port though, so that would never go for me. Let's do the 13th Colony. I see a few people asking for the rye, so let's do that. We'll use this glass because it's been draining for a bit. Old Scout, man. Yeah, I hear a lot of stuff about Old Scout. I've actually never bought an Old Scout, and I see barrel pics of them all the time. It's one of those things that you feel like people talk about it so much, you're like, am I sleeping on that? I kind of need someone I trust to get one, to pick one, I mean. Yeah, Travis, I'm with you. Port and rye can work. Port and bourbon doesn't really work very well. I will say I have had midwinters. I've had 2 or 3 batches of midwinters, and I think it's okay. It always leaves me with a weird mouthfeel. Arctic Spirit, though, holy crap, dude. I loved Arctic Spirit so much that I took it to my family vacation in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Perfect when it was snowing, man. That was so good. Loved it. Loved it. Curbside at Total Wine. Dude, I'm telling you, if you do curbside stuff, then there's oftentimes allocated stuff that they put on shelves that are limit 1 that you don't get to order on curbside. So always worth going in and walking the shelves at Total Wine just to see. I mean, it's hard enough to get an image of what they've got available on their app anyways. If you're just going for normal stuff, then that's fine. But like, you can find some really interesting stuff and some allocated stuff too. Oh, on Toucan Cocktails? That's cool, man. Hey, we should do a live about that and have some conversations about that. That'd be cool. Do a cocktail live stream. That was for Whiskey Wisdom, by the way. I know you know, but I need to start looking. So Travis, you pointed out the JD picks. I need to start looking at barrel codes when I go to stores because I need to get some Coy Hill single barrels. I obviously have never even tasted a Coy Hill release, small batch or single barrel or the new one or any of it, right? So, Mr. Mom, even I, a Texas man, have never tried the Tawny Port Texas. So TX, we were talking about this earlier. TX is kind of hit or miss. I think some of their stuff can be really good. I also really don't like a lot of their stuff. I have not been adventurous enough to go out of my way to get their finished stuff. Their barrel proofs are really hit or miss. I've had some barrel proofs that taste nothing like Texas whiskey. I had a barrel proof that I got as a gift for my bachelor party that was amazing. Amazing. For $60, it tasted like ECBP. Tasted like Kentucky bourbon. So good. So good. But I've also had some that were not really that good. I love TX whiskey with some dark chocolate. That's a really good winter combination. TX whiskey barrel proof with some dark chocolate, man. That hits good. Dude, that live stream was so much fun. We're doing another live stream on Friday with Doc. So if you go on Doc's channel, then we'll be on there on Friday, which is cool. All right. Let's get into this 13th Colony Rye. Again, Bourbon Junkie pick, 9-year, 9-month with some French oak spiral finish. And right up front, you get this like syrup note from the French oak. It's 134 point, what? That's just straight up 134 proof. So the French oak, it's pretty classic French oak. You get the syrup, but you also get that vanilla spice, right? French oak to me always equates to that bright spice, even if it's low proof. If you've ever had a low proof French oak finished product, you know that it can be really spicy and like that bright spice. So that's really showing up here. What this is telling me is that the actual 95.5 has been really sweetened by the amount of oak influence that it gets in Georgia at 13th Colony. And the French oak is really bringing that back out. But in like a really syrupy, sweet way. It's almost lending to mint, but it's not really minty. It's like sweet and it's hard to describe. What if syrup was spicy? I guess that's kind of the best I've got for you. Yeah, Doc Martinez. Yeah, man. Yeah, we'll be on his channel, man. We did a live stream with him for the 4th, for May the 4th. They had a couple of other Star Wars channels on, and they were like, well, how funny would it be to have some Trekkies on? And you know what's funny is, as I said earlier, I'm a Star Wars guy too. So I tried to find my lightsaber, and my nephew hid it, so I couldn't find it. But yeah, Doc's a great guy. Ooh, okay, so this nose, I've just put my right nostril in. Fun fact, different nostrils, different notes. My right nostril gets the most typical 95.5 nose. Like just, you get a hint of dill. I hate dill, but you just get a little bit of it to let you know it's 95.5. That really nice, like baking spice, dill, a little sweet on the right nostril. Smells great. The left nostril gets all that syrupy sweetness and that French oak vanilla spice. Really interesting there. That's kind of the cool thing that you're talking about, Astro. Wait. Yeah. Astro. That's kind of the cool thing you're talking about there is Jack Daniels. They can be all over the place, man. They can be super hot. They can be really mellow. Like, they're always worth it, right? If you're out of JD single barrel proof bourbon or even rye, it's worth grabbing. All right, let's have a sip. This is the 13th Colony Bourbon Junkies Rye. Hey, thanks for joining, man. It's great to have you on. We'll do this more in the future. Get some better equipment or organization or whatever. Holy crap. Oh, that's good. Dude, I'm going to sleep great after this. I'm going to take a shower and it's going to be awesome. So, 13th Colony Rye on the palate. Holy crap. First off, it is minty. And sometimes MGP rye can get minty, but this is not in like an off-putting way. I love spearmint on my ryes, and it complements the French oak really well. That spearmint and vanilla, but it's also like dark and rich. Dude, their bottles look great on the shelf. You gotta have room for them though. They're fat. They're super fat. Yeah, man. Okay, so for Mr. Mom, for Still Austin stuff, man. I get it. I get where you're coming from. I think what you should do is find a place that has a Still Austin cast strength pick, and if they'll let you try it, then try it. Still Austin cast strength. I think I had a most recent batch from a few months ago, which I didn't love so much. But about 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, when Old Forester 1920 changed their label, I didn't really love Old Forester 1920 quite so much. Like, they changed, and it just wasn't quite the same. And Still Austin cast strength took over that spot for me. Right around the same proof. It was 115. It was super similar profile. Surprisingly so, actually, for a Texas bourbon compared to an Old Forester product. And it was fantastic. And a lot of store picks nowadays, they all range from that like 115 to like 120 range. So none of them are super hot. And they can be really, really good. So I'd recommend finding a place that has a store pick of a Still Austin barrel strength. And I'd pick one up. I think for 70 to 80 bucks, especially if you can try it first. It's worth a pickup. It's a lot better than their lower proof stuff. No, Travis is right. It's world-changing stuff. It doesn't taste like Texas at all. Like, there's no mesquite. There's none of that funky leather. There's none of that. It literally, Still Austin cast strength tastes like Kentucky bourbon. And that's coming from a guy that lives in Texas and knows what Texas tastes like and gets almost exclusively stuff that's not from Texas. So, for sure, it is pretty cool. 1920 definitely needs to age its stocks. The new label is, which it's funny. It's funny to call it new. It's not new, right? Like, it's been around for years. But the new label, it's just not quite the same, right? Like, there's a reason why I went on secondary. I bought this for $80 shipped. And the old label is so good, and it's almost hard to put a finger on why. But it just is. And it's a little sad. I mean, and some people, you get people bitching in the comments like, oh, that's just bottle to bottle, or oh, it's the same blend, or whatever. And, it's the same thing as the early times metal versus plastic cap debate, right? It is what it is. People have different opinions. I have my opinions. I think old label 1920 is better, and I think plastic cap is far superior to metal cap early times. Like, it's not even close. I have 2 plastic caps sealed for a reason, right? Okay, so actually, someone was saying this earlier. I think actually it was Punkard. He just jumped off. But yeah, the blue corn and the red corn, those are super funky. So especially the red corn is really funky. If you like Texas funk, man, then there you go, right? Someone actually suggested, it was Punkard that I was talking about. He suggested doing a homebrew, like a 1915 style, but with those 2, where you make purple corn, Still Austin purple corn, which sounds really interesting. I'd be very interested to try that. I wonder how that would be. It might tame down the funkiness of the red corn a little bit. That 13th colony is crazy, man. It's crazy. I'm really glad I picked it up. Okay, yeah. So it's funny you say that. Um, I was actually saying, yeah, JW Dant bib we don't get in Texas, so I've never tried it. I've never tried it, so I can't say for certain if it's better or not. But I love my black cap early times. And actually, so I went to college at Abilene Christian, and my favorite liquor store in Abilene had like 4 cases of it. I even took a picture of it. This was back in late 2020, wait. This was back in late 2021. And they had like 5 cases of this black top early times for $25 a bottle. I kick myself every day for not buying like 3 cases and selling 2 of them to Sean. Because I know Sean would have paid me for them. But oh well. Oh well. It is hard to disagree, right? It's hard to disagree. But I do. I think the black tap early times is amazing. Yeah, dude, I don't even need a full bottle. I would be interested in just like trying a sample or something. A 750, I know they're cheap, so if you want to ship me a 750, I'll pay you for it. That'd be cool. OGD bib, really? Okay, see, we had this conversation earlier. I'm not a beam guy. I know OGD bib for me. I haven't tried the 7-year, but I know the regular OGD bib is a bit too peanutty for me. Not huge. OGD 114, I love to make high proof old fashions out of that stuff. Holy crap. I can make the best high proof old fashioned out of that. That'll mess you up, man. Let me tell you what, you want to have a good time? Make yourself a over the course of the movie, you'll need 2 to 3 OGD 114 old fashions and then put on Armageddon Day or Armageddon. Yeah. With Liv Tyler. You're going to have a great day, man. Yeah, see, I would expect to prefer Dant to OGD bib as well. It's just beam's not really my thing. And I've tried it, but it is what it is. Oh my gosh, guys. So good. Trying to think. Oh gosh, how long has that been open? Go ahead and close that. It's funny you say that, Astro. Evan Williams bib, dude. I can't do it. I've tried it. Everyone suggests it. They're like, for a budget bottle. I mean, I get it, dude. It's like $18, right? It's so cheap for what you're getting. Major bargain. I can't. I've tried it straight. I've tried it over ice. I've tried it with Coke. I can't do it. But you know what? I have a buddy who loves it with his Coke because it really gets him there. A 131 proof 8-year light whiskey for $40. I mean, that's okay. What's Canadian light whiskey from that one place worth? Oh my gosh, what are they called? You know what I'm talking about though. It's like $60 for 10-year light whiskey. Yeah, EW bib. It's really not for me. Yeah, I get why it's on people's list. It's just not for me. What is that light whiskey called though? Oh my gosh, what is that Canadian brand? It's Canadian. Starts with an O. I think it starts with an O. I feel like Matt right here. Alberta, yeah. Obtainium. That's what I'm thinking of. Obtainium. Obtainium light whiskey. That's another one. You know, you're thinking like like $80 for some decent aged light whiskey. I've actually never owned a bottle of Obtainium, but you can get it really cheap. Yeah. You know what? I love my Penelope 15 American light whiskey. Love that stuff. I've started seeing the 17 is around. I really want some. I haven't seen it to me locally. Okay. Do we want to chat? Do you guys have questions? We can do some bottle reviews. I got a lot of Evernorth stuff you can't even see, for being honest. I know there's at least one person in this chat that knows about Evernorth. If people are in this chat that don't really know Evernorth and want me to preach the gospel to them, I would love to do that. Let me know. Golly, it's almost midnight. You are not drink. Just quickly typing. Totally not drink. Definitely not drink. I would say I'm tipsy. Although, you know what? My wife was very nice. She gave me electrolyte water. Exodus 2? Bro, I can tell you all about it. Oh, Essence is great, man. Depends on which one you're talking about, especially, right? Like, I've got an amazing bourbon, an amazing rye, and a couple of amazing of their American whiskeys. Let's start with Exodus 2. Let's go with Travis. I'll rub it in his face a little bit. There you go. Exodus 2. While I'm doing that, I'm in DFW. I went to school in Abilene, and I frequently visit Abilene. I love that city. But yes, I am in DFW. I'm going to do some Exodus 2 real quick. And if Astro, which, by the way, I hope that's not for the Houston Astros, because fuck you, I'm a Rangers fan. But if you would prefer bourbon, rye, American whiskey for a Evernorth Essence review, let me know. And I'll pick the best one of those three I have. It's so funny that you say that it's a 6-year blend, because like it is, right? Isn't that insane? So it's 6-year rye distilled by Sagamore, and it's their low rye, 52%, 43% corn, and 5% malted barley, right? Just crazy. The value you're getting is insane. Wait, hold on. You bought Evernorth not knowing it was Bourbon Junkie stuff. But I know for a fact you basically have to be in the Patreon to get Essence stuff. How'd you get it? I don't like if you bought it off someone on secondary. I don't care. I'm just really curious because I rarely ever hear about people doing that. Okay, so you're from Detroit. Cool. So many people from Michigan, man. It's ridiculous. Yeah, man, give me a holler. Especially if you know Travis. Yeah, right? That means you're trustworthy. You're not going to rape me or anything. Yeah. That's fair. If he's a Tigers fan, he could be local. Although if you're local, you probably know who they are, right? Like, if you're driving out to Evernorth. I feel like most of Evernorth's marketing is from Bourbon Junkies, right? I guess I'm biased, right? I know them personally, so that's kind of where I'm coming from. But it's really interesting to get other perspectives, like if they're coming from a different area than I am, Not even geographically, just like in the media. Oh, gosh. All right, Exodus 2. Exodus 2. Again, 6-year Sagamore, 52% rye, 43% bourbon, 5% malted barley. Spilled a little bit on my white shirt. That's great. Go Cornhuskers. I will say it's nice and hot. Real hot on the nose. Nice, Mr. Mom. All right, where in Texas? So you said you're native Texas, retired DFW. You from DFW? If you're from Houston, automatic no. Just kidding. Okay, so while Mr. Mom's responding, Travis, I'll let you know. One of the things I love about this this lower rye mash bill from Sagamore is it always lends itself to have this like sweet and yet savory note, which is super interesting. This is going to sound really weird. But it kind of smells like steak sauce. It's like that kind of savory. You know how like A1 steak sauce is sweet, but there's also that like savory component to it. That sounds off-putting, but it's not. Like when you smell it, it's almost like overwhelmingly rich. I think that's a good way to put it. Corpus Christi, all right. My dad was born nowhere near there. My dad was born in Big Spring, Texas. If you know where Big Spring's at. I was born in DFW, so. Did you get to see the, I don't know where Lancaster's at. I don't know if that's near Corpus or not. But did you get to see any of the like space shuttle launches and stuff from the Houston area? That'd be cool. All right. The more you smell it, the less savory it gets, the more sweet, the more almost like a mint characteristic starts to come through. The ethanol also fades really quickly. Let's go ahead and have a sip. Country ham, dude. Yeah, man. I totally get that. That's a great way to put it. Oh, it's like cola right up front. I get that Dr. Pepper note, right? Like the cola. And then it finishes really like sweet with like the pepperiness of rye. It's really well balanced. And it tastes so much older than 6. I mean, we're talking minimum 8. Oh, Ellis County. Okay. Yeah. Over there. Definitely not seeing any launches from there. Ooh, that second one finished hotter than the first sip. What proof is this? 65%. Sitting right at 130 proof. Dude, and it's hot. It's really good. From what I understand, I think Exodus 3 is going to be better. Exodus 2 is good. It's really good. But I think they think Exodus 3 is going to be even better. Which, that's kind of the cool thing, right? They're just improving more and more, and it's kind of getting harder and harder to ignore. The problem is that you can only grow so fast, right? There's so much demand for these guys. They only have so much room in their barrel storage. You know, they only have 2 blending tanks. And so there's only so much you can do at a time. I would say this I've had one handy. Not handy. I've had one Thomas H handy. Not owned. I've tried it. It's such a different profile. Like the Thomas H handy is so bright, lighter. Even though it's older, it's so much lighter than this. This is like a dark rye, man. Like this is so savory and dark. It's so cool. Dude, Dragon's Milk, man, they make great stuff. Have you tried their walleye? Walleye rye. Their walleye rye releases are amazing. I've heard. I've never owned one, but holy crap, dude. I've heard amazing things about them. Dragon's Milk, just in general, their origins, especially like their bottled and bond in honey finish, are also really good. Five-year minimum, really? Wow, I didn't know it was that young. I always kind of thought it was like minimum 10. Yeah, dude, those toasted origins. Oof, I've heard great things. I will say, I've had George C. Stagg, I've had WLW, I've had Thomas H. Handy. I've never had Eagle Rare 17. I've never had Sazerac 18. So, 3 out of the 5. But the Handy was my least favorite. This is where it's funny. If you watch our video on this, actually, we had a video where we tried a sample of 2023 or 2022. No, it was 2023. We tried 2023 WLW from a sample, and I pulled down my 2023 George C. Stagg and tried it against it. And I came with the conclusion that I liked the flavors of George C. Stagg more, but the WLW was a better whiskey, if that makes sense. It was more well put together. Better mouthfeel, better experience start to finish. I just prefer the profile of George C. Stagg, if that makes sense. Yeah, 6-year doesn't really fit the BTAC, but I will say, like, they're meant to be $100, right? And I think the Thomas H. Handy that I tried was definitely worth the $100 at the time. Now they're 120, but yeah, it sucks, right? You know, you got to fit the niche. You know, they have their old age-stated rye for that at 120 for SAS 18. They have their lower age statement but high proof rye to fit that other niche. You know, like, I get it from Buffalo Trace's standpoint. From a consumer standpoint, it's really tough, right? Because of course you as a consumer are not paying $120 ever, right? But at least on the plus side, you could get a Thomas H. Handy for cheaper than any other BTAC on secondary, probably like $350 these days. I mean, you're paying as much for a Thomas H. Handy as you are for a Russell Single Rick or something. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, so Travis, on that, SAS 100 proof for a 1 liter, and I think it's going to be 40, not 30. But I mean, even still, that's only $5 more than you're paying for a 1 liter of regular SAS. You're talking $5 to $10 max increase for a regular SAS product, which is cool. Which is really cool. Okay, so we did the Exodus. I think we've got one or two more things in us before I'm heading to bed. I did promise that we would do an essence. So, what essence do we want to see? Bourbon, rye, American whiskey. Evernorth essence, bourbon, rye, American whiskey. Let us know. You know, Handy seems like the odd man out, but people consistently put SAS 18 at the bottom. So it's funny you say that, because like from the stats sheet, you're almost kind of like, oh man, age statement wise, everything else is 15 plus, and then the SAS is low, but most people think, or the Handy is low, but most people think the Handy is above the SAS. So Rye 1? Fuck, I wish I had Rye 1. Maybe I could bully Joe into giving me a sample of his. No, I don't. I do have a cool bourbon. I do. I see Astro recommended bourbon. I have a cool bourbon. I have a cool rye too. So, I mean, I don't know. If it's bourbon versus rye, I've got bourbon 6 versus rye 4, which those are like two of the favorites in the community. Of course you're gonna try, right? Like, I wish I could have some rye 1, man. Oh, that'd be so good. All right, so we've got one for bourbon, one for rye. For reference, if I'm just picking like the best of what I've got, then let me show you real quick. So I have, actually, it's kind of funny. Right now I have two of each. So I've got two bourbons. One is a Green River 7-year pick. So 7-year Green River. Or I have a 9-year Sagamore bourbon, which is really cool. That's probably the one I would pick. That's the more interesting one. So 9-year Sagamore. Unless you want the Green River, that's fine. For rye, I would say this is my favorite. This is rye 4. Everyone kind of agrees this might be the best single barrel rye they've put out so far. It's Maryland, 5 years aged, but it's amazing. And then I've got two American whiskeys, which are both malted wheat. Ooh, I have 3 actually. So for the malt category, for the American whiskey category, let me rephrase. For the American whiskey category, I have a American light whiskey. I have a 6-year malted wheat from Iowa, which is American whiskey number 1. And I have Nick's Pick, which is 6-year 100% malted wheat as well from Iowa. Bourbon. I just did a rye. That's fair. I did just did a rye. Bourbon 6 is so good. Rhino, I don't have a Rhino pick. Those sold out so fast, man. The rye is a really pretty label. I love the purple. I'm a sucker for purple, you know. Scratch them. You want a sample of Evernorth bottles? Nice. You don't even know what they are. That's funny. Okay, so here's the thing. I just did the rye. Well, not this rye. I just did a rye. And that's fair. But let me go ahead and put my favorites up here. Okay, so we've got Bourbon 6, Rye 4, and I think Nick's Pick is my favorite of the American whiskeys. So we'll do that. You guys can pick bourbon, rye, American whiskey. And this will be our last one before we head out. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Maybe you'll make old fashions. You deleted that fast, but I saw it. Rye versus bourbon final showdown. Hey, you know what? That's fair. And you know what? Let's worry about dishes tomorrow. I'll even get 2 new Glens for it. Let's do it, right? All right. Rye 4 versus bourbon 6. Both Maryland distilled. 9-year Maryland bourbon versus 5-year Maryland rye. All right. Ooh, that sounds interesting. All right, let's do it. Happened to pull out one of my now extinct Virtue Spirits, Glen. Nice. And a blank. Well, that makes it easy. Okay. Considering that the rye literally says virtue on it, we'll put the rye in the virtue glass. This rye is 5 years old. It is 52% rye, 43% corn, 5% malted barley, aged in Maryland at 64%, so 128 proof. The bourbon comes in at 9 years, 68 corn, 27 rye, 5% malted barley, for a total of 57.8% alcohol by volume. And the decimal points make it too hard for me to even bother doing the math in my head, so I'm not. If you want to do the math on your calculator while I pour this, that'd be cool. Because I'm not going to. All right. We got bourbon on my left, rye on my right. Did I take it from the tasting room? No, I paid for it like a real man. Not one of those hooligans. Dude, I love Sagamore's rye. But you know what's so cool? Is tasting Sagamore bourbon, which until this year, they've never released on the shelves. Apart from this way, that I know of. I do think that Sagamore is releasing a high rye bourbon under their own label, actually. I think I saw that somewhere. Should be swirling both of these. My bad. Let's just double swirl job. Yep. Okay. Bourbon first, on the nose. Smells like candy. What if black cherry was a Jolly Rancher? That's what it smells like. I think that's coming a lot from the amount of char that's in this. Again, it's 9 years old, right? Horton here's a hooligan. Oh, okay. I didn't know that they had Sagamore bourbon in the Barrelcraft Spirits. That's cool. Listen, okay, when you smell the 9-year bourbon, you can definitely smell the Sagamore stuff in there. But man, wow. Ooh, that smells good. All right. Nose on rye 4. Has so much like sweeter up front, surprisingly. Less fruity. More char almost, which is kind of funny to say because it's almost half the age. Smell them back to back just to make sure. All right, bourbon. A little bit lighter, fruitier. The rye darker, more. It has more of that savory note. It's not fruity like the bourbon is. All right. Let's try the bourbon first. It's lower proof. Bourbon 6. Down the hatch. It tastes like candy. Dude, Hooper, good last pour. Good last pour. It tastes like candy. What if you put barrel char in candy? That's what that's like. Ooh, man. You know, I kind of off the nose expected some of a Jolly Rancher, almost like tart note, and there's none of that. It's like real sweet. Real sweet. Almost like maybe like preserves. It's like a mixed fruit preserve with barrel char. Ooh. Man. So good. The other thing I love about Bourbon 6 is it is so viscous. The mouthfeel is fantastic. And it might be high proof, but it is not. There's no burn. There's no like astringency, right? Like it's just really nice. It drinks way under its proof. So for 57.8, I mean, you're coming up on 120 proof there. 115.6, if my math's right. And I think it drinks about 110. It drinks a lot softer than some of my Russell single barrels I've gotten, for sure. All right. Rye 4. This is getting back to that, like, cured ham that we were talking about on Exodus 2, which makes sense, right? 5-year. It's the same mash bill from the same distillery. It's 1 year younger than Exodus 2. So that cured ham note really makes sense. Dude, give Klein credit all the time, right? Klein's awesome. But also 36% rye after you get over that 8-year hump. 8 years and up, 36% rye really comes to be special. I don't know for a fact, but I know that this backbone pick from the Bourbon Junkies, the whichever one this one is, I think this is 8 years. And it's like black cherry candy in a bottle. So like it's fantastic. I get that. 115.6, dude, totally nailed that out of my head. How much whiskey have I had? Go me. All right, Rye 4. Savory, sweet. Oh, amazing. All right, let's try it. Okay, it's 128 proof. It doesn't have nearly the same mouthfeel as the bourbon, but whoa. Ooh, it's still going. It's, I kind of wish it was a little bit more complex, but overall, like, wow, really coats well. Like, no part of it is overstaying its welcome, nor is it leaving too early. I think if you're looking for a a really like spot on overall experience. It coats the mouth well enough, but it doesn't stick too long. It's like the perfect party guest. Rye 4 is the perfect party guest. It's sweet and it's savory. It coats the mouth well, but it doesn't stick too long. The finish stays, but it doesn't sting and prickle after it's welcome. The mid palate is interesting, but then it goes to the finish and it just leaves and lingers. That's really well balanced. Oh, this is going to be hard. Oh, this is going to be hard. Yeah, Travis, I can't remember if it was 21 or 36. And actually, over the last few months, I've gone back to look at the posts, and they never say if it's 21 or 36. It could go either way. Like, honestly. But it's that pick of Backbone. It's so out there. It's so old MGP tasting that could be 21 or 36, and I just don't know. Dude, I mean, honestly, like both of these, holy crap. The nice thing is that neither of them Irish goodbye, but neither of them overstay their welcome to where you're like, all right, can you leave? Right? All right, let's go back to Bourbon 6. I love the bright fruits. Like, wow, the bright fruit is so nice. Usually on Sagamore products, you just get this really bright citrus, and this is like going to like a cherry orchard or something, and like picking fruit out of the orchard, rather than just like zesting an orange or something, you know. Wow. Okay. I figured it out. Okay, actually, you know what? It's funny you say that. Hooper, it's funny you say that. I've never actually bought a Cam's pick. I love Cam. Cam's awesome. He's got a great palate. He's such a chill dude. I've never bought one of his picks. Yeah. Okay. I mean, the Bourbon Junkies, of course, Dan shits on Cam and his picks all the time for fun. But, like, you know, Cam and Dan and Sean, like, none of them pick barrels that aren't worth buying, right? Like, they're always worth buying those. Those guys are great. Oh my gosh. I had an amazing thought. You can tell the whiskey's starting to hit, right? I had such a great thought on this bourbon. What was it? I don't know. I'll think about it. All right. Bourbon 6, dude. Woof. So good. Oh, I remember what it was. You know, when you really start getting into whiskey, you're new in your journey. You're new. It's not Sabaro. Jeez, I'm not Dan. I'm not going to Sabaro. I've got a local place I get pizza from, man. Come on. Better than that. Anyways. When you're new in your whiskey journey, what is one of the main things that you do all the time, right? You're growing your whiskey collection. But along the way, most of what you're doing is buying cocktail ingredients, right? You're like, yeah, I like whiskey, but like I really like old fashions. And I know my friends and family really like old fashions, right? Maryland, specifically Sagamore, Sagamore does bourbon and ryes that are basically old fashions in a glass. And I think specifically Bourbon 6. Bourbon 6 is old fashioned in a glass. It's just sweet enough. It's just cherry enough. It's just proofy enough. It clings like it has syrup in it. It's not hot like a normal barrel proof whiskey is. It doesn't like overpower. I think if you offered this to someone and they were expecting an old fashioned, you might put it on a rock. Maybe. You might even just add a couple drops of water. But the flavor profile is there without any additions. It's a high proof old fashioned in a glass. Bourbon 6 is that. And actually, Rye 4 is that. But maybe you're making more of a rye forward, less of a fruit forward old fashioned. I think that is just Maryland. I keep saying Maryland. Sagamore just does that perfectly. Let's go to Rye 4 once again. Rye 4 is a little hotter than your typical old fashioned. But wow, if you watered that down a little bit, your old fashioned lover would be all over that, man. Oh my gosh. Yeah, okay. That's the thing, Travis. I think you're spot on. Evernorth, what they're doing different from a lot of other places is they're pulling from totally different areas, right? And one of the cool things about them pulling from Sagamore is until this year, it's like the only place that you can get Sagamore bourbon on the market by itself. I mean, we were talking earlier, you could get it from Barrel Craft Spirits in their blend, but like how much are you going to notice that? The cool thing is that you get the Essence single barrel and you can see, okay, I know what Sagamore Rye is like, right? You can get 20 different expressions of Sagamore Rye. And I love Sagamore Rye, right? I have their 9-year, I have their bottle and bond, and I have a distillery exclusive from them finished in, oh my gosh, what is it called? It's some orange wine cask. It's Vino de Naranja cask finish. That's great, but I love that I can compare. What does their release taste like compared to a single barrel that people I trust their palate have selected? Like, there's so much cool stuff going on at Evernorth right now, and I think actually it's growing even further. Like, Sagamore was just the beginning. Green River is another example. I think that Green River is doing a lot of picks right now, but Dana and Sean are picking really kind of special barrels from everywhere they're going. Green River, they're picking these really wildly cherry forward, bright, really interesting barrels that I just don't think you're finding in the wild right now. Green River has some really great stuff coming out. I think Bardstown has some really great cask strength single barrels. Both of those, by the way, like Green River specifically, is doing their high proof single barrels from Green River, which is where they're sourcing these Kentucky single barrels from. And it's like Evernorth is comparable / better than a lot of the stuff you'll find on the shelf. And you're paying about the same price for for a better looking bottle with a better looking label with probably a better profile. And honestly, if you don't want to buy from the Bourbon Junkies, then you can go to any of the people that they're selling single barrels to. Cam, Matt Porter. I think Cam, he released a video a couple of weeks ago where he picked like 3 single barrels or something at Evernorth, which is so cool. I think we're like 6 months away from Whiskey Trek being like, I don't know, we've got like 25 friends that I know at least that would buy bottles. Maybe within the year, Whiskey Trek will go to Evernorth and do a barrel pick. What do y'all think about that? Oh yeah, I knew Naranja is orange in Spanish. Yeah, it's basically finished in orange wine casks, but it's crazy as well, right? It's 100 proof and it's finished in orange wine cask. It has the feeling of a wine finish, but it tastes like oranges. It's very, very strange. I mean, I like it, but like you gotta kind of be in the mood for it. Dude, okay, Green River has so many mash bills, and now they're incorporated like hand and foot with Bardstown, and Bardstown like contract distills for like 80 people. It's kind of getting crazy. But no, seriously, I really want to go to Evernorth and do a barrel pick. And kind of the nice thing is, at least I've got the Patreon and our Discord chat. Travis, you know that. I've got a good palate. I feel like I could pick a pretty good barrel, especially with some help. That'd be so fun. Dude, Amburana. You say it's a mood pour. I think Amburana, it's a love or hate. I don't even think it's a mood pour. Like, some people really hate Amburana. Some people really love it. I'm more on the hate than the love. I will say I've got one bottle that I think you will be interested in. Let me finish this and I'll drink it out of this. Okay. So we've all heard of Doc Swinson's, right? So this is Doc Swinson's finished in Amburana. Let's see. It is the Bossa Nova. It's 113.6 proof. Straight bourbon whiskey finished in Brazilian Amburana casks. I don't like Amburana all that much. What I will say is this might be my favorite Christmas Day pour. I've never had anything in my life that smells and tastes more like a snickerdoodle cookie than this, other than a snickerdoodle cookie. Do you like snickerdoodles? Do you drink whiskey? Then drink this at a holiday and you're going to get really fucked up. I've had people who don't like whiskey. I've had people who like whiskey. I've had people who are iffy on whiskey, and every single one of them says, yep, that smells and tastes like a snickerdoodle. Yeah, Hooper. Okay, so American 5, which one is that? Because because I don't think I have American 5. But, dude, Bourbon 6. Oh, my God. Bourbon 6 is amazing. I don't think I ever gave a conclusion. I'm going to go ahead and say right now. I like Bourbon 6 is better than Rye 4. That's going to be controversial. That's going to be hugely controversial. And here's why. I think Bourbon 6 has more of a journey than Rye 4. I think Rye 4 has a better palate experience as far as front, mid, and finish and coating. But I think Bourbon 6 matches close enough while also having a more interesting palate as far as flavor profile that I think that Bourbon 6 takes it. I think it's really close. But I think Bourbon 6 edges out Rye 4. Malort barrel aged, please. Actually, my best friend, we lived together all 4 years of college. We had known each other since elementary school. This past New Year's, he did like 8 shots of Malort, and he does not remember most of the night. But he prides himself on being able to do shots without tasting anything, because he just like sends it down the gullet, misses basically everything. I wish I had that talent. I do not. Yeah, so Whiskey Wisdom, I hate to tell you, the quality sucks because I went to Best Buy and I got a micro HDMI cable that does not work with my camera. So I have to order a better micro HDMI cable to work with my camera so I can use my capture card that I spent $100 on so that I can stream in a higher quality. But that'll come later this week. So, apologies. Yes, the quality sucks. It's temporary. My bad. I was really hell-bent on streaming. I was really hell-bent. Like, honestly, I almost gave up once I realized that my micro HDMI didn't work. And, I just carried on. Dude, who drinks Bud Light? Like, seriously? I mean, if we're going cheap beer, you know what my cheap beer is? This is my pool beer. I have no shame. Lone Star. I'm a Texas man. I drink Lone Star in the pool. I get my 24, 25 ounce tall boys. I drink that shit in the pool, man. So good. So good. Okay, American 5? Yeah, I don't have American 5, but I do have a 99 corn 1% malted barley. Actually, I just picked it up right here. It's 7-year, 99 corn 1% malted barley. This is an Alec Bradley pick, 65.5%. This came with one of their cigar pairings. Dude, and honestly, the light whiskey. It's really good. It's hot. I only drink it really in the winter, honestly. Oh my gosh. I almost forgot what I poured in this glass. And I instantly smelled it and went, oh, it smells like snickerdoodles. I wonder what it could be. You know what's funny is, Mr. Mom, you say, does your friend drink Bud Light too? No, my friend does not drink Bud Light. The funny thing is I say that he'll kind of drink whatever you put in front of him, but it's funny that more often than not I ask him and he'll be like, oh yeah, I was drinking sake or whatever, right? Like, he's one of those guys, he got me to play D&D. I have a weekly D&D session I do on Tuesdays. He watches anime, he drinks sake a lot. He does a lot of cocktails. I mean, he basically could be a professional cook if he wanted to. His taste in alcohol differs greatly from being he can make really good cocktails, but he couldn't give a shit about like lower tier stuff, just depending on the situation. It's kind of funny. He's an interesting dude. We've been basically best friends since like 5th grade, so I give him a pass. He did like 8 shots of Malort on New Year's. I had to put him to bed at like 12:15. That was funny. Would I rather get hammered on cheap beer or cheap whiskey? Easy. Cheap beer. You feel a lot more bloated, but the headache is way more subdued. And also, I feel like, especially in the summer, because you're sweating so much in the summer, especially in Texas, like, you're taking half the amount of pisses that you usually would drinking that much beer. Yeah, Hooper, who you be? Who you be? I get that it's too much beer. But I guess let's preface. What do we mean by cheap whiskey? All right. Let's be real. Cheap whiskey. What do we mean? Hate beer. Listen, crap beer is water. Good beer is good. Craft beer, that can be terrible. I guess another thing, I'm thinking of a Texan's perspective. So it's like middle of the summer. The last thing I want to do is sit in the middle of the day and drink literally any whiskey ever, because it's 100 degrees, and this year it's actually really humid. It's hot as balls. If you're literally anywhere other than inside where it's 70 degrees with air conditioning, you're drinking beer. There's no chance that you're drinking hard liquor. I'm only drinking hard liquor because it's cold inside and it's late. The pour that smells like snickerdoodles. It is Doc Swinson's Bossa Nova, finished in Ambarana casks, and I swear to God, I'm drinking it right now. It smells and tastes like snickerdoodles. And I'll even go beyond that and say I've given this to people that kind of like whiskey. I've given this to people who don't like whiskey, and if they don't like whiskey, they don't taste it, but they smell it and they know. And if they kind of like whiskey, they smell it and taste it, and they're like, oh my gosh, yeah, like literally. So it's a great bottle for holidays. I was gifted this as a Christmas present, and I don't really like Ambarana, so I almost never pull it out. But this is kind of going back to an earlier point. My favorite thing about having a collection is I have a variety of profiles, right? So, like, I'm not going to Total Wine and buying shelfers. I like buying store picks from the Bourbon Junkies. I like going to stores and getting their barrel picks. I like finding the interesting things that they have. Over time, you go to those stores and you buy their barrel picks. You pick their rewards, and those rewards turn into points, which turns into allocated bottles, which are the interesting things you actually like to watch on YouTube, right? So I grow my collection with interesting, unique items while I also get things that people enjoy watching, that I also enjoy tasting. This is one of those things, right? Like, I was gifted this bottle and I don't love it. I almost never reach for it. I almost never drink it. But it's so wild and interesting because it literally is like tasting a cookie. That is so cool to have. So there you go. Oh, you don't like the hops? Yeah, I get that. I didn't used to be an IPA guy. I just had to find the right IPA for me. And the right IPA was Manhattan Project's Half-Life, because it tastes like drinking orange juice but beer. Actually, you know what? I retract that and I say that the Manhattan Project Double Half-Life is better because it's more citrusy and it's more alcohol and it's fantastic. So, if you are anywhere near the DFW area and you like beer, buy Manhattan Project. Basically anything they make is great. Their Double Half-Life particularly is fantastic. Black Velvet? Alright, well, Mr. Mom, you lost all respect. Black Velvet, I'm out. You lost me there. Benchmark Bonded? Yeah, I mean... People like Dan Shook say Top Floor is the best, and I think it kind of tastes like suntan lotion. I like their Bonded. Not the Bonded, the single barrel. There you go. Single barrel is my favorite. You know why? Because it basically is essentially a E.H. Taylor small batch. It's like 2 years younger than E.H. Taylor small batch, and it's 5 proof less. And the flavor profile is almost exactly the same. So that's what I would go with. If you're going to get Benchmark, it's still under $30. It's like $25. I can find it everywhere here. And it's actually pretty good. All right, guys. Well, it is almost 1 a.m. I am going to give us till exactly 1 a.m. Central Time. And then I'm going to end the stream. We've had a ton of fun. Talk about a successful first live. I hope that people joined, had a good time. I hope that people come and watch and see what this might be about in the future. Obviously, I had zero expectations. We didn't set up anything for this other than a camera, some software, camera, and mic, and lights, and some whiskey. If you guys have any ideas for future lives that we could do, make sure to comment or send us a message on Instagram. You know, we are at Whiskey Trek on Instagram. You can find us here on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe. Really, honestly, guys, the participation is the reason why I've gone till almost 1 a.m. I do have an actual job, but the fact that you guys are in chat and participating, that's what I love so much, is that I get to sit here and feel like you and I are conversing, even though there's a camera between you and me. So let's just keep this going, and I love the conversation. So if you guys have some topics that we should do next time, then let's do that. Honestly, it's kind of sucky trying to finish the night on this Snickerdoodle. Like, it's really good, but it's not like great bourbon, right? I'm wondering. We got 3 minutes left. Travis, no problem, man, dude. Let's do it again. And let's guilt everyone else into joining from the Discord, because Travis, you know this more than anybody on this channel. But what do they complain about most? Oh, Dan doesn't stream anymore. Oh, nobody does their live streams anymore. And then I do a live stream and they're like, chirp, chirp, chirp. So, all right, let's get them to do that, right? Let's get them to join next time. We should have one final awesome pour. What's even in this? Bourbon 6, that's what's in that. All right, we're going to end this on Bourbon 6 because that's good enough and that's fantastic. And I don't need to pour more. I've had a lot. I'm not drunk, but we're feeling good. All Texas flight? Okay, I've heard some good stuff about some Treaty Oak stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Mostly I've heard good stuff from Texas people about Treaty Oak. I could do an all Texas flying. That'd be fun. Malort, no. You see, Mr. Mom, I only saved Malort from my friend Dante, who literally does not give a fuck. I bought it. I have it. I only bought it and have it so that it would be a punishment at my bachelor party, which happened over 2 years ago. And you know who drank 70% of that bottle? My friend Dante. There you go. All right, guys. Seriously, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we're going to do some more live streams. Honestly, this has been probably the most fun I've had creating content for this channel. We've had almost 5 consecutive viewers for most of the live stream, and I couldn't care. I couldn't care less that it was less than 10 people because this was fun. And you guys who stuck around, you made it a great time. We're going to do it again. I hope that you share it with your friends. I hope that you share it with everybody so that we can get more people in here. So I have more people to talk to. So we have more topics to discuss. And we'll do polls to see what topics we specifically want to discuss on future live streams, which would be super fun. And I hope you guys had a fantastic time. Let's end it off with a nice cheers and a drink of our Evernorth Bourbon 6. Cheers, guys. Thanks for hanging out. See you next time.